shall never
make it not sad.
I shall never
let them buy their wedding.
I shall never
Lovely, did absolute.
I shall never desire
Ever but
I shall never
The feeling I want from you.
I shall never
let them buy their wedding.
I shall never let
Lovely, did absolute.
what my pen
Good guts, don't let us.
what my pen
Good gut, make it not sad.
what my pen
Good gut,
Let them buy their wedding.
what my pen
good gut. Lovely, did absolute.
what my pen
Good gut, come into our don't let us.
what my pen
Good gut, make it not sad.
what my pen
Good gut,
Let them buy their wedding.
what my pen
good gut. Lovely, did absolute. Did absolute. Did absolute.
I shall never
Every day,
desire
I do.
I shall never
every day,
Make it not sad.
I shall never
let them buy their wedding.
I shall never
Lovely, did absolute.
I shall never let
Can twist the heart.
I shall never let
Stay,
Make it not sad.
I shall never
let them buy them wedding.
I shall never
Lovely, did absolute.
what my pen
Good guts, don't let us.
what my pen
Good gut, make it not sad.
what my pen
Good gut,
Let them buy their wedding.
what my pen
good gut. Lovely, did absolute.
what my pen
Good gut, come into our don't let us.
what my pen
Good gut, make it not sad.
what my pen
Good gut,
Let them buy their wedding.
what my pen
good gut. Lovely, did absolute.
breathing out breathing in breathing out breathing in conquer it breathing out breathing in
I don't think I was unmuted. I believe I muted my mic completely. I had it muted 3 layers. And I've been talking this whole time. Well, you heard a burp, and it wasn't mine. I promise. Welcome, everybody, to the live stream. I'm super excited to be joining Daramuth on DaraChat. I'm Major Zap, right pinned to the top of chat right here. And right there, right over there, you can see Dara's point of view and go from there. But I did hear his burp. I don't think he realized that, but maybe he burped on live stream. Maybe that's a thing he does. I don't know. Will we hear more burps? Who knows? Who knows? I'm trying out a new camera today. Let me know if it looks any good. Yeah, I thought I'd something that I haven't done in a while. Got everything set up on it, played with it, figured it out, things like that. So, yeah, I'm liking it so far. I truly am. Basically, it has camera and it has teleprompter and everything built into it. It's basically the size of a cell phone, and it's an 8K camera. I mean, I go upscale, but it's most likely no audio. Oh, Dara had no audio. I had no audio.
I accidentally muted myself.
Did you?
But thank you for that.
Yeah, he muted himself. You can hear him. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the fun stuff.
I'll turn that down a little bit. There's a little bit bleed through right there.
It's,
I'm ready. I'm ready when you are, sir.
I just saw you kind of talking to the void there, so it's like he might be talking to his people.
No, we were just, greeting everybody and stuff like that. Turned out, you weren't the only one that did that. We did it the same thing, the exact same thing. I'm sitting there talking away, greeting everyone, and talking to the teleprompter, greeting everybody. Hi. I heard your burp. They heard your burp.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. I thought it was like some type of thing, and I was like, maybe that's what he does with his chat. You hear the burp, and that's it. That's a timer to let him know, hey, where are you at?
No, I usually mute my mic, but for some reason it turns it on to my speakerphone for my camera, and then I have to change it over to my microphone.
So it was a mic in your room was hot, and it went, you know what? I'm gonna let him hear it, right in their ear holes.
Well, and then I got told I had no audio, and then I looked, it's like, oh,
yeah, I saw that. I saw the message.
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I was talking, and I was like, why is my monitor in my right ear not working? And I'm starting going, yeah. And so I was like, okay, maybe there's a delay. And then I was like, maybe I didn't charge the battery. No, I charged the battery. And then I was like, see, I just burped just then. My apologies. Excuse me, chat. I apologize. I had a little pre-stream libations, just to kind of.
Because you stream almost every day, don't you?
Every single day. 7 days a week, 6 a.m. I go live 6 a.m. That's my schedule for now. Has been for over a month. But things, may change, things like that. Because tomorrow I'll do my stream. It'll be my normal size stream, 3.5 hours. Because I start at 6, so I'll get done about 9:30. I usually have the rest of the day. But then I have a IRL job interview for a pretty good substantial thing. So nice. I'm hoping, that opportunity does move forward because they've already done the phone interview and that went stellar. And then they offered me an in-person interview. So usually when they do that, it's a good sign. But now they want me to walk the facility, kind of see if I'm interested. I already know what they're going to be offering me. The starting. And if I get just even the starting, I ran the numbers backwards and forwards, basically off what they told me. It would be really lucrative for me, honestly, because it'd be a great opportunity. It was basically 3 times what my bills are. And so I would have a nice little padding, and I'd split that in half, put it in savings. And then that little savings right there, I can go ahead and pay my house off and just knock that out because I don't have much left on the house at all. Like, it's a ridiculous amount. I have like less than $9,000 left on the house. Nice. So it's a 1954 pier and beam in my hometown. I bought it in 2016 with my current wife then, Marlena. That whole TikTok thing, my current wife, that's not what it's about. The reason behind that is I'm a widow. And it's been this January will be 4 years. Wow. Yeah, it's still fresh. Yeah. But that's okay. I'm a Marine. We adapt, we overcome. But I've had such great love and support from my family. And the new love of my life is completely understanding and knows absolutely everything about everything. Ozzy. And they are just phenomenal. Their love and their support has brought me back to who I can be. That's also why I'm streaming like I am. Their support of that. They love the fact that I'm a content creator, just that I'm a creative in general. and
Right.
they're a creator too, but they're not an online creator. They're an artist. They paint and draw and do music and all that stuff. So very very similar backgrounds. Not what I have, but they're from here. We met. We've
Nice.
only known each other 5-6 months, and officially as of roughly about a month ago, we're dating, like
Oh,
dating.
nice.
And
Nice.
so they even like talk to me to their mom, and I talk to my mom, my parents about them.
Yeah.
It's not that it's getting serious, but we're mature enough
Yeah.
that and we're adults, so we
Yeah.
want to share that journey with our families, and not expecting their support by any means,
Right.
but
Yeah.
just like share that with you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm excited about and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are much much older, so the being a content creator escapes them. It
Yeah.
truly does. So they don't, because, and also, I was in the industry and like, oh,
Yeah.
I would tell dad, I was like, hey, I'm off on set. Oh, okay. It
Yeah.
just, but I knew he loved me. I knew he supported what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Mom was like, where are you at? Where are you at now? Because I'd be flying around or stuff like that. The company would take me somewhere because I work for a fairly
Nice.
large company, and they would take me all over the United States and sometimes around the world, depending on the
Wow.
project. Oh yeah, I've got to see the world, experience the world, various cultures, and
Mm-hmm.
and I'm super blessed with that opportunity that happened. And I went to
Mm-hmm.
film school, and it wouldn't have been for a very, very dear friend of mine. And Joe, I miss you greatly. Joe Mustaki. He was an
Wow.
actual from the industry.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the writers for the original film, not the prequels and stuff like that and sequels of Weekend at Bernie's. And so
Oh.
I was trained by Joe, as well as several other. Iron Daniels, a multi Grammy
Mm-hmm.
award winner for audio production. He was one of my teachers. David Glass was a world renowned editor. I went to ASU. Went
Oh,
to
okay.
Arizona State University for
Oh.
film. So yeah, I went to the majors. I trained and trained. I went school year round. Got my degree, and like actually it was 3 months, and I was still finishing school, but they let me take a reprieve because they're like, oh,
Oh.
we'll let you. We'll hold your grades where they are. It's not going to hurt you in any way because you're actually doing what we trained you to do. You're off in the
Right.
industry
Nice.
working. Because I remember I almost missed graduation because I was
Oh
on a
man.
gig. I was on a gig, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I have to vamoose like quickly
Yeah.
because I don't want to be. And thankfully, I was only 35 minutes away from where I was. I was at the U.S. Airways Center. Well, at the
Okay.
time, it was the U.S. Airways Center in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Talking Stick Arena,
Okay.
where the Phoenix Suns play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's see, what was I doing then? What was the show? Oh, it was Tool. I was working with Tool at the time
Okay.
on a show because I did lighting and sound and engineering. I was a gaffer. So
Okay.
basically,
Gaffer. Okay.
basically in the industry, for those who know what a gaffer is, an
Mm-hmm.
electrician. I was a
Yeah.
super high paid, super crazy, working with super high voltages because we took the house power and
Mm-hmm.
converted it through our distros and all of that. But it was only two main gaffers. But then we had a team. I had a team of 7. Pharaoh,
Oh,
my
okay.
partner, had
Mm-hmm.
a team of 12. He had been in the industry longer, so
Wow.
we were crew chiefs and doing that. And he was actually with the touring agency, and I worked for
Okay.
a company called Rhino Staging. So we were both
Okay.
union. He was with the main tour. I was with
Mm-hmm.
Rhino, and then but Rhino did their own things, and we just kind of, that was a contract at the time,
Yeah.
and kind of came together, and that's what that was. And like Beyonce, Tool, Depeche Mode, WWE Monroe Superstars, 57 Broadway shows, and plus many, many more. So
Oh.
I've done so much and was so blessed to do that. But if it wasn't for Joe, who knew the owner of the company, who wrote a letter of recommendation, that would have never happened. So that's why,
Yeah.
And then Joe even created a camera lens called the Masaki lens, which
Oh.
is still available today. Very,
Nice.
very expensive to get your hands on. It's a fisheye lens. And the first time it was
Oh.
ever used and he created was for the Beastie Boys, a music video
Oh.
way back in the day. So I was trained by some of the
Yeah.
best of the best. Thank you to the school for picking those people
Mm-hmm.
and those professionals to teach us. And I mean, you wouldn't even believe me how many people I told you started and how many people finished.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 73 started in class, right? How many
Mm-hmm.
think, chat, that you can ask the number. How many, I'll ask you, Dara. This is for everyone. So 73 starts. How many graduated? That's the question. Let's see if you get this. What do you expect?
20%.
Hmm. Let's go a little less than that. I think. I'm doing the math. You're making me math. English hard, math hard.
Oh well, then 10% then. At least 10% would be good.
Yeah, you're about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bump that number 7.
7%. Well,
No. 7 people
7 people
of 73.
Yeah, so that'd be about some 10% right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that'd be right. There you go. See, I got it wrong the first time.
No,
And the
you were
second time, I was like,
very close, and because I will tell you right now, film school's not easy, not for the brave.
Oh.
But if you want to do that, I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
If you're a creative and you're interested in that, and because the reason I went was because every time I went to the movies,
Yeah.
I left feeling a certain kind of way. I couldn't figure like put my pen, but I was changed. Each and every film I went to, I was changed, and I just love that feeling. And I was like, I would love to feel that feeling and then share that feeling. Now, I want to share that feeling in a way that's something I created or I worked on. You know, my name's there. It's attached. Even if I'm in the background, it's part of the crew.
Right.
Because the crew, they're critical. Absolutely critical to making things like that happen. They truly are.
Yeah, I could believe it. I know some people who I know a lady who does makeup for, well, it's freelance makeup, but does makeup for stage and stuff.
Yeah.
I've known a few people who've worked in like TV and all that.
Yeah.
So I've known some people in that regard.
And I'm still to this day, I'm good friends. If people know the names, maybe good friends with some of the judges and teachers on the show that was on Sci-Fi called Face Off. It was the makeup competition. Glenn Hedrick and V. Neal. Good friends with them. We met in the industry, stuff like that. I semi-professional makeup artist, things like that. And there is Silly Biscuit right now. Oh, okay. I can turn Dara up. That's not a problem. Thank you. That's Ozzy. Ozzy is here watching now.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. We got some juice to the voice.
Boom.
There we go.
Boom.
Thank you, Ozzy. I appreciate that, my love. Thank you.
Who disturbs?
Oh, Lord, you're in my ear. No, you're good. I'll just fix my monitor. That way you're not screaming in my ear. It's fine. You can be as loud as you want. It's for chat. It's not for me. It's for them. It's for the viewer on both Rumble and YouTube. We're simulcasting as well as.
To take your soul.
No. You're more. The more what you want. I'm coming to take your soul.
No, you have to do like more. Get over here.
Oh yeah. Hey, where's your? Yeah. I'm waiting for it. Dodge. Oh, miss me.
Oh goodness.
That's my thing. You hear people when I'm like fighting a boss or something like that, and it shoots at me. You hear me. Whoop, miss me. You know, that's just a thing. You hear it all the time, and it's just what I play. I'll even be like, when I'm not streaming and I'm playing a game, it's the same reaction. So I was doing that for a while, and then I was like, you know what? Turn the camera on, add some music.
There you go.
And just what's the difference? Not. I'm just. There's a chat, and I'm seeing them. I read them, I've learned to pay attention because I have monitor here as chat. The main's here. I have one up here, and then I have one over here. The studio's here, main's here. That's a feed, and then I have chat here. So, I can't do one screen. I did 2 screens, but now that you do 4, I'm planning to add a 5th for more information, more data coming through. Like mostly for like, say, if I'm getting just solely Discord.
Yeah.
And then have a ping that no one hears that I can look over and go, oh, okay, I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen some people do like, there was a guy I had on who was streaming to like 10 different platforms.
What?
Like,
whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
I did try multicasting like in that way using a site at the time. They've changed and evolved in the strangest way and done a little bit of paywalling stuff, which is I get it. Paywalling, I get if necessary to keep the services running.
Yeah.
You got to pay your employees. If you have employees, the servers, there's cost. There's overhead. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
But do it in a way that's very professional. Don't force a paywall because then you're just going to outprice the consumer and they're done. They're just done. They're not going to come back. You'll never see them again. You just won't. And so I used Restream.io at the time. And I was multicasting at the time Trovo. I don't even know if Trovo's still a thing. DLive. Is it?
D-Live,
really?
Well, I was talking to someone recently that Trovo's still out there, but DLive is sort of sort of bonky. I guess they said it really was sort of just there, but it's not there. So
Yeah, and I don't touch Kick for any reason. Nope. And I'm trepidatious about Rumble, but my home is YouTube. It always well, I originally started on Twitch.
Right.
And I was back in the day when I hate saying this and voicing it out there, but the hate raids. I was there during that, and then I just got my fill of it, and I was like, I'm done. I'll go where it doesn't exist, and it didn't exist on YouTube. And yes, YouTube has been going through some very strange changes lately, but you know what? You adapt, you overcome. I'm just going to keep trucking along. And I don't know if it's, I truly believe it's my hard work with the growth, but if it's my hard work plus what they're doing, and those two are a nice little mix, it's working for me, whatever it is. It's working for me. I know I'm just going to continue working hard and keep going and enjoying. I just enjoy being a creator. If I make money off this, if that ever happens, big if, Billboard, Wyoming, flashing if, if that happens, so be it. I'll take their money. I'll cash that check. I'll split the money. I'll make it a slush fund, some for the channel, some for that. Like use it to buy game keys and for giveaways and stuff like that. Pay it forward, like you pay it forward every now and then. I see it. I see you when you do that.
Oh,
I admire that.
You stopped by, I think it was last Friday you stopped by.
I try. Yeah. When I'm available and if I'm free time and I'm just kind of, I pop around a bunch of channels and just kind of show some love, support, drop a comment on different platforms because I know what the metrics need to be to kind of get you up by paying attention to metrics. That's just business related. And knowing how to read that, and that's extremely, metrics on any platform are critical. I cannot stress that enough, how critical that is to know what they are. If you don't understand them, watch some videos, ask a friend, ask a professional who is willing to talk to you and explain it to you. It's a problem. You got to find a solution. And once you have the solution, then maybe, just maybe, you'll want to have that drive too. And if somebody else, I'm doing this, hey, here's a tip. Not take over, but here's a tip. I'm going to help you out. Here's a handout. It's up to you if you use it or not.
Yeah.
And a little bit of sharing the information out, because stuff I've learned along the way or tips and tricks, that just makes your life easier.
And there are a lot of people out there who are very metric focused, but you won't find that much in me, unfortunately.
No, I'm metric focused, but I don't allow it to overwhelm. I go, interesting. That's good. Good. Okay. And then I close that and I move on. I don't sit there and obsess. If you obsess over the numbers will eat you alive and drive you insane.
Oh, yeah.
My sister's a CPA. I could never be a CPA. Nope. I sucked at math all through school. I sucked at math and film, but then it just something about it just in certain parts resonated in a way, kind of in a savant kind of style that I still had to do the math, especially in electrical. Oh, I dialed that in and learned that. I had to, because I understood, one, electricity is dangerous. Two, if I made a mistake that could potentially hurt somebody and possibly kill somebody, I didn't want to be that person. And I was strict I even, like, at ASU, a division, a satellite school of ASU, I ended up, they offered me, like, when I was done and I graduated and everything like that, and they were like, hey, would you be interested in also possibly being an interim instructor part-time? I said, what's the pay? And it was dog crap. But I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I was passionate about it, and I wanted to see other creators spread their wings, go off and do their own thing. That's what I like. Is I want to, because that gives me a chance that I'm working in the industry in some shape or form. And then who knows? They may be a colleague one day.
Yeah.
And then we may get to collaborate one day. And then make some crazy something that no one has ever seen, because, their vision, my vision, they come together. Just like, as an example, let's see, Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
That's a good example. If they never would have collaborated or knew each other or became friends because of collaboration and work and things like that, we wouldn't have Young Frankenstein. We wouldn't have Blazing Saddles and things like that. Things that they were worked on together, and some of them they wrote together, and we just wouldn't have it. It wouldn't exist without that. Yeah. So
I would think, like, the whole Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder thing was pretty important too.
And honestly, they were very, very, very close.
Yeah.
Based off the interviews, and you listen to it, you can hear it in their voices. In those interviews, you can tell they were true friends. Oh, but friends have arguments and disagreements all the time. Real friends do that.
Yeah.
They truly do. But, ultimately that'll happen. You just have to not put your friendship on the line, but think about it and say, this is my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and just on repeat hurt my friend, because ultimately, if I hurt my friend, I'm hurting myself.
Yeah.
Does it hurt when you do that? Does it hurt when you hit yourself? Then stop hitting yourself. Right?
Does it hurt when you put your hand near the fire? Then don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah. You adapt, you evolve from that. And I have a very odd mixture meld of, like, not in doctrine necessarily, because I don't do religion. I'm a man of faith, not religion. Religion is man-made. I'm a man of faith. So that kind of gives you a dive on that side.
Yeah.
2, I'm not political by any means.
Yeah.
I served those people and I gave them my time. I have zero interest now to do that.
Yeah.
You had your chance, you had your time. Now it's my time, and I go off and do my own thing. And I am absolutely happy with that. I have a TV. I don't even watch the news. That's my personal choice.
Yeah.
I absorb, I get my entertainment from YouTube and other platforms, from other content creators. That's how I'm entertained. And on occasion I watch some movies online, stuff like that. But other than that,
yeah,
that's me. That's what I do, is a deep dive, and make music, and keyboards right behind me and stuff like that. I do that. I just released a song yesterday. Yeah. I wrote it, but I can sing, but I can't sing like a choir.
Right.
I sing karaoke really well, but that's its own thing. I do it for fun, and just it's part of the entertainment world. So I wrote the song, worked on it, and Ozzy was actually on the phone with me when I did it, and I started humming. I was like, "Ooh, idea!" Lightning struck my brain, epiphany, and I was like, the muse is upon me, and I started shaking my hand, and they're like, "What? What do you mean the muse?" I was like, "No, if you're a creator and you're like in the vein, the muse will come upon you, and to recognize that." And the muse was upon me, so I just started jotting stuff down. And what it was for ended up being for, and I was reading the description of a game series I just started today. I wanted to launch it today. It's Voyagers of Nira. I only read the description. My dear friend Wes, and a longtime supporter of the channel, gifted that game as well as Jump Space. Because I was wrapping up the Abiotic Factor series, which he also what we do, me and Wes, is we have a tit for tat kind of situation. Is he'll get me something. Now he's got me 2. Right? Yeah. Wes, if you are listening in, I'm going to get you back. You do 2, I do 3. Then you do 3 or 4. You one up me, I'm going to one up you 2. We it's a little game between us and stuff like that, of games that we like or on our wish list, things like that. If we have the extra funds and stuff like that, because I'll play solo, but I don't prefer it. I prefer multiplayer. Like even today, after checking out Voyagers in Air for the very first time after the stream, I immediately jumped on Nitrado. That's the servers I use for all of my gaming if I'm doing a multi like that or collabing. And I rented a server for 30 days. And with 6 slots, and I sent out a few VIP invitations to certain ones I know or want to play the game and have the game. And we'll play that on that server off stream. We won't stream that server unless it's just really juicy. Other than that, I'll solo play that. Or Wes will join me, or somebody will join me on the main stream. Separate, bifurcate. Know where fun is, know where work is, essentially. And
Jump Space is certainly becoming, at least that game I know of is certainly becoming very big. Sort of like when Helldivers came out, and that was sort of the big one for a while. And then
I tried Helldivers, it just didn't hit. A game's got to hit.
Yeah.
It had to hit that sweet spot, and like, oh, well now.
Yeah.
Well, what you doing there? Why are you touching that? No touchy, unless it's a really good game. And I'm so memeish, that's me, because you live it, you hear it, you breathe it. It starts becoming part of you in the strangest way. It really does. And I have like a bunch of some people I've actually worked with in IRL that are content creators also, and that's kind of a common ground. It's like I worked for ADT doing security. I was the one on the other end that I troubleshot the systems, got them up running. I didn't sell them. Thankfully.
Right.
I can
Right.
sell anything to anybody. That's easy. That's an easy thing. I want the technical aspect.
Right.
And then, so a friend of mine, Jay Killafarilla, he's a Twitch content creator and has been on Twitch for quite some time. We met, our day jobs was ADT. I would be the guy that, troubleshoot them, but also every now and then I'd take shift when it was time, certain time of day. And I would be, if a call came in, depending on what region we were in, we would get IP locked into a certain region. And then we had basically software that we could track everything. And if we needed to reach out the authorities, depending on what the situation was, we were trained in that to, try to de-escalate the situation as best as possible, keep the caller as calm as possible, answer the questions. If it was an actual event, then we would be listening and typing. And at the same time, we have queues going, okay, I'm queuing up a call. I'm about to, link this call and hand it over to the authorities, 911. We had a certain, it's like when it got to a certain point, we're like, okay, I understand the authorities are being contacted right now. Please be patient with me. Just a few more moments. So, I know, start to get them. The biggest thing is get them thinking. First thing you want to do is get them thinking, because you're not trying to distract them. You're just trying to take them out of that element just for a moment so you can get better, clear information. That's the biggest thing. And it would be something as simple as like, yeah, okay, dog. Okay. What color is that dog right now? I mean, I just want to make sure. So if they show up, they're not, the officers or whatever, it's not going to ask about that color. I'm using that as a mechanism to, they're gray and white. Oh, that's okay. I had one like that, but and just kind of calm, cool, collective. Be calm with them. Don't get excited with them, and say, okay, good news. The authorities are on their way. They'll be there in just a little bit. And we'd have a timer, and they would actually, and then basically we would leave that call, but we would stay on the call with them and listen in, and that was recorded of timing and things like that. So, and also too, if that person needed to talk, we had them in another monitor. We had the authorities in this. So I'm multi-monitoring, audio, video feeds and stuff like that. So that's kind of also why I have multi screens.
Yeah.
One, I've used it for work in the past. I've worked for several jobs where this has come in handy. Nice. So it just kind of, the YouTube work, a normal job, stuff like that. Oh, Da Vinci is here.
Da Vinci, the one who did it all. No, that's pretty awesome though. Like I think ADT is pretty still big out there.
Yeah, the campaign I worked on was ADT Blue. It was at the time, it was their newest stuff. It was basically, they had wireless cameras, all wireless. And how that worked was, yes, they were on wireless network, no cables, but the batteries were also wireless. Oh, and you had a charging dock, and we'd send them everything they needed to get them. And then I did the onboarding packages, which means I set everything up for them. I was like, okay, that, and then I walk them through it. A lot of the time is just use an app, but it's just just like that.
What do you think about? Because I know there's many different security like ADT, and there's more beyond that. But what do you think about stuff like the Ring stuff, like that's becoming security?
Good. And any security company, they've always had their issues, but Ring had such an issue with security. They were a security company, but they had so many ways in and out for other people who shouldn't be in there. Right. And then that went public, and I was like, yeah, are you a security company? But are you? You say you're secure, but doesn't look like you are. So it kind of left a bittersweet taste in my mouth on that one. So I'm not bad talking about anything. I'm just going based off facts and what actually happened.
Right.
That makes you go,
Yeah, because I asked because it's gotten such a huge adoption, it seems like. Like I go through my neighborhood, and I'm seeing like the doorbell one, right? Because I know they make floodlights, whatnot, but the doorbell
there's so many companies that do that.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not. However, I think ultimately what happened is they had market PR saturation, and they had great PR. And that's really what pushed them out there. Their sales personnel, their tech, the tech itself, they sold the package in such a way that everybody and their mother wanted it.
Yeah.
And honestly, to be fair, there's actually much, much better out there for much lower prices. There really are. Better protocols and just that in general. There just is. Safety is extremely important to me. I actually don't use that. I have IP cameras that I bought the hardware and coded and put on my servers, because I actually have 2 actual servers. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 3. One of them is guts and parts. The other 2,
Right.
one of them actually have it right here. I'm actually looking at it right now. It's a Dell 690. Big, basically 85, almost 90-pound server. It's heavy, heavy. Not on a rail or on a rack by any
Right.
means. Has twin Xeons in it, 512 gigs of RAM, over 36 terabytes of, one drive's a, security drive for archiving that I got from Seagate, a Seagate Red, their Seagate. No, not Seagate. Sorry, not Seagate. Had a Seagate in it. I went Western Digital. Their, I think they released one several years ago called the Red Wolf or something like that.
Right.
And I checked it to drive out. I got one, and I have actually, for another job that I had,
Right.
did forensic data recovery and data analyst, and just learned what good drives were. And so I put that thing through its paces. I really did. And I was like, okay, is this something I would use on a day-to-day basis, and how good is it? I'd like push it, and like you said it could do this.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out, and a little extra. Because we also worked for Geek Squad for many years. I was a Geek Squad agent. My badge is actually hanging up there. I keep that proudly. I was a double agent, and now I'm a sleeper agent for them. And it has happened in the past that they reach out to me. It's very rare. And it used to be a lot. During 2020, it was very common that I would get pinged or an email saying, hey, are you available to help us on a project? And I would remote in and help wherever I could, because they'd be short-staffed because of the virus and things like that, and the massive influx of everyone being home, working from home, businesses remoted and stuff like that. So we answered the call. We did, and I did what I could, and basically, technically, I was a gun for hire, if you want to look at it that way, because I would show up, I would get the job done, get paid, and leave. I was a gun for hire. But I actually had worked for them, but then I went sleeper agent. And that just, I have the challenge coin that basically, I actually have an actual challenge coin that's flip it over, has my name, badge number, everything. You flip it over, and it's like status, sleeper agent on the other side. And so that's basically if I ever go to any of the squads that are in existence. Now, the one in my hometown decided to shutter its doors. And because of that, there went that job.
Yeah.
The store closed. And the partnership with Best Buy and Geek Squad in that specific store. And trust me, it's a partnership. I was full Geek Squad. I did not work for Best Buy. I worked for Geek Squad. It's a partnership. It'll always be a partnership. They don't own each other. It's since 1997. It's been a partnership. Because before that, they had a company called what was that company's name? Tech Solutions Help Desk or something like that, and they were decent, but they didn't meet the need ultimately. And then I guess maybe that partnership ended or contract ended, whatever, and then it just became a partnership in perpetuity. And they share the brands of each other, and that's why you see it so married into each other. It's because they melded so well. One's the tech side and solutions, the other was actually the sales side. You have to have both sides of that coin, otherwise. You could do it yourself, sure. That's going to cost you more. You have to find the experts, have them, make sure. And so that was a smart decision on their part, ultimately.
Because I would assume that too, is that it was just part of Best Buy in the sense of what it was.
It's part of them, but also ultimately a partnership. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, because it's because before Best Buy there was like stuff like Circuit City.
And I worked at Circuit City.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. And when that closed down, then I went off and did other things, and just always been in and out. I've worked fast food. I've worked as a garbage man. I've worked as a sewer, a wastewater treatment technician. In that I went to Texas A&M and got my license to do that.
Nice.
And I worked for a company, ConAgra Foods. I'm sure if I say that name, if you look on the back of a package of Orville Redenbacher popcorn or a banquet, frozen dinner, or a turkey or something like that, and you look over, it's a ConAgra Foods product. We had a factory here a plant in my hometown, and I went and worked for them. And at the time I was working graveyards, but then I was also working fast food. It sounds gross, but wasn't doing it together. I wasn't serving chicken and sewer together. Don't be gross, nasties. Because I know my chat will be like, "Bleh." I'm like, yeah, me too. Bleh.
Yeah, especially when there was a video I remember seeing, and this was during the time they still sell them, but this is I think at the beginning of when they were selling the flushable wipes, and they were showing this video of the flushable wipes, and they call them like fatbergs, I think is what they called them.
Thankfully, I wasn't in residential sewer and all that stuff. I was in
Okay.
industrial. So
Oh,
everything that
okay.
came to me was from the plant. But I will tell you right now, they're cooking all that stuff and rotten meat and
Yeah. Yep. It's down there. It's
yeah,
down there.
yeah. You like that?
Probably
Bleh.
there's probably a dead body in there somewhere. But yeah, no, it's definitely
I would sure hope not because actually since I was low man totem pole in the grunt and they had a respirator fitted for me, I was the one not swimming in it, but climbing down there fixing the pumps and stuff like that. They're like, "Hey, pump number 3's out. Get your radio, get your respirator, get your mask." And then I'd go with somebody and they would lower me down and it's a small, very small space down there, by the way. So you cannot be claustrophobic by any means. It's dark. You know, you have your tools. I would wear a mouth guard, honestly, and then I'd put my respirator in. And so if they talk, I would like beep beep on the radio, like for yes or stuff, because I was not opening my mouth down there. No, I'd rather not. I just wouldn't. And so there'd be a problem with the pump, and it's submerged, and I'd have to like reach down in there and unbolt the old pump, put the new one on there, get it, prime it, and then do a beep 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 or like multiple beeps. We basically used our raw version of Morse code. You know, we made our own little chart for depending on what the beeps were on the radio, because the radio was like, could go underwater. A lot of the stuff I used was for, we purchased the stuff for diving. That's what it was used for communications. The company was smart about that. They gave us the tools we need. But I still remember this day when I was working. I was on shift, and my partner, Johnny Istri, I knew he was coming in and stuff like that. And the EPA shows up. That's fine. No, this is good. Not a problem. But they showed up just to kind of do a tour of the plant at the time. And then they had a bunch of bigwigs that came from all over. And so, that whole blah, blah, blah. So I was at work and stuff like that. And so basically, I get the call from the office and said, they're headed your way. Just do what you're doing, stuff like that. If they have any questions, answer them. But you know what you need to do. I said, okay. And then so the person from the EPA came in, and, hi, did their whole thing right before the execs walked up, just like blah, 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 the glad handing crap. I was like, nice to meet you. I'm such and such and such. I'm the, this is what I am and stuff like that. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. You're touring, I'm going to stay out of your way. I've got a job to do anyway. So I just continued working because I had stuff to do because we were in the flume. So a flume is basically a flow system and going out. So we were pumping out. So basically what happened, the factory sewer would go into basically large 6,000 gallon tanks. And they had a propeller in it, and it would keep that turn into a slurry. So all that stuff is chopped up and and then they add chemicals to it, and it turns into a gray sludge that can be pumped through pumps. And yeah, pretty nasty. Especially during the summer, you can smell them. Oh, yeah. You talk about ripe. Yeah, ripe. Infant's diaper ain't got nothing on this. No, even the worst case of everything. And they'd send that to me, and that's what got sent to me, and that's what I had to deal with. So it would go through basically an AccuWare system, which chilled it down to drop the temperature because we had to. Not freeze it, but just we used ammonia to drop the temperature, which also then killed some of the bacteria off by, I'm instantly dropping the temperature like that. Then that would go to another system, which then put in sulfuric acid, and that would do its thing. And then we'd add polymers and do different things like that. And the polymers, they would actually work with that chemical in combination. And then it went to another system. The sulfuric acid level would change. And then we would add caustic soda and just really just kicking the bacteria's butt best we could. Because ultimately our goal was we would dump everything into city sewer. But we had regulations and certain pH levels to be safe for city sewer. Okay. It had to meet those regulations. EPA would stop by every now and then, check our systems, and then everything reported was documented. We had the lab and like on site, and if it was like super weird, then I'd send it to a lab in Austin, Texas, and get the information back quickly via internal communique like that. But ultimately, and so so 50,000 gallons a minute being pumped out through that flume. That's a lot. That's a lot. And we were sucking that in and sending it out and just going. And sitting there, and I had like sensors going in there and checking the speed, checking the pH levels, all of that. And if it's weird, dial in, add a little polymer. And then the reason the polymers were there, they cause that solution to become adherent. And then they'd add oxygen. And then it was in another system that had paddles. And we'd jump into a big system like that. And the polymers would cause everything to stick to the air or oxygen. And then that stuff would rise to the top, which would be a sludge. And then we'd scoop that off. And then that would go into a separate bin, and they use that. And to be honest with you, what they did with it, trucks would show up, and I'd pump it into trucks, and they'd take that and go spray that on fields as a fertilizer.
Yep.
So that's what I did. And we're talking like these were 8-inch pipes.
Yeah.
That's a big pipe.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of flow, and they were like, those pipes were a good 4 inches thick. Easy.
Yeah.
And then, they were like a PVC. They weren't PVC. I think they were... ABS. Hey, Flary, good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, how are you? I'm so happy you're here. And so I did that for a while I was still working at a chicken restaurant and everything like that. So I was working graveyards there, daytime there. Sleep was a luxury, of course, because I had, a new little one at the time. Right. And I was just trying to do my best to, provide for my family. And I did whatever. I would do whatever it took to provide for my family. I didn't care how gross it was. And the weirdest thing, I was a fan of Mike Rowe and Dirty Jobs. Oh, yeah. So I was like, if he can do it, I can do it, Yeah. And, so I did. And I went to a hiring agency, and that's how I got on there. And then they eventually hired me on full time and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously his show that used to be out there, but now he does like a podcasting show.
Yeah.
As well. Because I think it was like, what was it? I don't know. Was it the Travel Channel or
Yes.
Science? Okay,
Travel Channel. Well, various channels, but Travel Channel being one of the biggest ones you'll find him on, honestly. Yeah. But then there's other ones. Discovery did some
Channel, yeah.
Discovery. He did a travel thing. He did a travel they did a mashup of Discovery Travel at one point for something that they did, because where they were going, they only covered so much of it, and then it just kind of the next part rolled off into the next part, kind of more of a deeper dive. Yeah. And it was really, the travel part was them getting there, and they had, an interview and different things and that kind of, once that broke off, then it became something else. Yeah. I can't remember what it exactly was, but I remember seeing something along those lines.
Yeah. Because I remember a few of his ones. One was he went to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
And he was doing one there. And I think the other one I remember is when he went to a farm and they were collecting the methane gas. Right. From the cows. Yeah. And I think they're using that for electricity rather than anything else.
Yeah. That's one way. So they do that. There's coal, there's hydroelectric, there's solar, there's that. Various things. Various things.
No, Life Search, I'm not going to go do that. I already do a dirty enough job. I don't need to go and do that. I don't need to go into the sewer.
I've worked the dirty jobs live. If you have a weak constitution, try it. See how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
See how that goes. No, you're not. You might not last. You might not make it through the day. The boss is gonna be like, "Could you please stop yakking on everything? It's getting a little. This is your 48th time.
Yeah.
Can you not?"
One of the things is that my dad used to work. He's a diesel mechanic, and he used to work on the trucks at the garbage trucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the sad stories he told me was that he found, I don't know if it was a cat or a kitten, but he found a kitten with it just.
Hey, Steve.
It was open up and all that stuff, and it was really sad. But I mean, you get those kind of stories with all that, because I mean, just people throw away the craziest of things.
Yeah.
But
thankfully, I never had to deal with any of that. It was industrial sewer. Their stuff was extremely strict. They watched everything. There wasn't areas where somebody could fall in.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there wasn't that, because basically it's like these grates that were on the floor where stuff was dumped off of the rotisserie systems, and basically this rotisserie system was massive. Once they called me in, like became friends with one of the actual, technicians that worked everything. We became very good friends, and every now and then he was like, "Hey, I know you work at the other chicken place. Is there any way you can bring a bucket of chicken?" I was like, "Maybe." Me and the guys are hungry, so on occasion when I could. I would tell the
Yeah.
security guard, "Hey, I'm bringing in like 4 or 5 buckets of chicken because maybe it wouldn't sell at the chicken
Yeah.
place. So we had to do something with it. So I asked my boss, I don't care. We're just going to throw it away or keep a portion of it, and the rest of it we might make into something later. But if it's like we had so much, then
Yeah.
they'd tell the workers, "Hey, get your bags, back your cars up, take this chicken away from here. I don't want to smell it anymore. I've done it all day. I'm done."
Yeehaw! Get on out.
Yeah, just get out here.
Um,
That bok needs to out of here.
well, no,
And
it reminds me too. When you talk about dirty jobs,
yeah,
there was an episode where Mike Rowe was actually at a wastewater plant.
yep.
And they showed the process of, like you were talking about, putting oxygen back in and all that stuff.
It's a
'Cause
wild
again,
process. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Because
but circling back to that, mentioning the EPA. So the funny story about that, there's an interesting story. EPA, right? You would think they are fairly bright to a point. Well,
Maybe.
not this one.
all right.
Not this one. This one was as useful as a white crayon. Yeah. Yeah. In a box of everything, not a white crayon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they had what was those old clipboards that are
Yeah.
that metal, aluminum, like
Yep.
that, right? So they had that, and we have these berms around caustic soda. We had 500 gallons of caustic soda on the other side, 500 gallons of sulfuric acid, and those were separated.
Wow.
Those two chemicals do not like each other. Do
Mhm.
not mix them. You're going to have a thermal runaway
Oof.
instantly. It's a bad day for everyone if they meet. But so we had
Oh,
these
yeah.
really big concrete berms, but on the caustic soda side, right?
Mm.
The spray, because it's being
Mhm.
pumped, and it just kind of
Right.
it's sweated.
Mhm.
Okay, you would get these crystallized formations, and I'd have to go over and neutralize them, scrape them off, but still there's a little residue there. You
Mhm.
wear gloves, you wear your PPE when you're working near that. You have to, or you're going to
Oh,
get
yeah.
hurt quickly. Because even with
Oh,
that,
yeah.
when you're cleaning and stuff like that, you have to be sealed in a suit.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
so this person was going around pointing things like they knew my system, like they knew what they were talking about, and I'm listening, going, this is interesting. Yeah, well, that doesn't do that. You say that, but that's not what that does. But okay, fair enough. I don't know where you learned this. Maybe you watched a video, or because I've never seen you before. Doesn't mean
Mhm.
Johnny hadn't seen him before and maybe told them. But I'm sitting there going, we don't have that. What are you pointing at?
Mm.
That's not what that is. That's not the AccuWear. That's a flume. That's a flume drop down with a pipe. That's not an AccuWear. I'm thinking to myself, and I'm up there spraying stuff down, and I'm looking at them pointing and like that, and I hear them. I'm like, I'm just doing my job,
Mhm.
And then I noticed something that caught my eye. They had taken their clipboard and set it on the edge of the berm of the caustic soda, on top of, a little bit of stuff.
Mhm.
And I went, I hope they throw that thing away and don't pick it up. Well,
Mhm.
I was wrong. They picked it up. What does somebody do with a clipboard usually like that? They put it on their arm right here. They did, and they went, and they dropped it immediately. Instant chemical burn. So I climbed down the ladder real quick, run over my locker, kick it open, grab my vinegar on their arm. I said, "You're welcome," and I walked away.
Yeah.
I neutralized that quickly. I was like, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
But by the time I got to them, they already had easily first, second degree chemical burn on there.
Oh.
It's instantaneous. You
Oh.
don't touch that stuff without protection. You just don't. It's caustic
Mhm.
soda, caustic.
Mhm.
And that's what you see on trucks and stuff when they're hauling that stuff. You see the symbol that shows you a hand that's
Yeah.
burning and has a hole in it.
Yep.
That's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it's doing. And so it got on the clipboard, and then one, that's aluminum, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That don't react, but they love
Mhm.
to. It's like a magnet.
Yeah.
They like each other a lot, like a love relationship that you
Yeah.
don't want to touch. You want nothing to
Mhm.
do with. And that happened, and I'm sitting there going, and you work for the EPA. Good to know I'm safe. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is my mom used to be a aquatic director for a pool,
Ooh, okay.
and you're dealing with
Mhm.
muriatic acid and
Mhm.
sodium hypochlorite,
Mhm.
and mixing those two things together will make a gas that's a no-no.
Yep.
But basically a mustard gas, I think is what. Oh no,
Very-
chloric gas. I
Yeah.
think it was.
Chloric gas, it's nasty stuff. Even a little bit of it can really hurt you. quickly. Just a whiff of it, and you're going to have some respiratory issues for a while. You're going to feel like you've got the worst case of deep, like pneumonia, bronchitis, or something like that. Yeah, exactly, Flurry. A toxic relationship. Sure. We'll go with that. Yeah, it's a toxic relationship. Sure is. And but yeah, it just my chat's over here, Floristic and Steve. They're just over here being my chat, my community that I love so much.
No, yeah. So that was an interesting thing. And of course, it was like a pool that was built in like the 1960s, so you have to kind of deal with all the kind of things with that. But still, it's sort of one of those things like you do not. The thing was, you do not want to mix them. You want to keep them separate.
Yes.
Because one wrong move and you're
exactly.
You better be out in the open and
quickly. I mean, if you're within a certain range and that happens, even if you're out in the open, if you're close enough, you're danger close.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to kill you, but you're going to know it was with you. It's going to leave an impression quite quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly.
That's why you don't mess with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, sodium hypochlorite is not.
Yeah, it's not as.
No, it's not as dangerous as muriatic acid.
Right, but it's those two together. When you get that lethal it becomes a lethal combination. Truly,
yes, it does.
It becomes and anything like that caustic soda and and sulfuric acid become they have thermal runaway. Ultimately, like within milliseconds of them, just like it's just faster than you can blink, and it's like and that's it. Think about this though, small amount. They showed us this when I was in training and stuff like that, and when I went to Texas A&M, and a little drop of that. They had it in a safe little box. And they drop it and just and you're like, what was that? Did you light that on fire? No. Chemical thermal runaway. We're like, whoa, that, And
I've
so
seen someone do the what was it, thermite? I think it's what's called thermite.
Yeah,
like, that stuff is wow.
Yeah, I mean, I played with some of that in the military. Yeah, I basically So in the military, I was an aircraft mechanic with communications. I worked on drones and aircraft and stuff like that. And I was in when 9/11 happened. I was world changed. Wow. That was one of the first world changes that I ever really experienced that scared even me, and it scared all of us. We didn't know what was going on. No one really did for moments. And many years later, I talked to a friend who was in the Navy, and they said, and it was scary. They said for a good 45 minutes, we didn't know. But I mean, like they didn't know, and maybe they weren't high enough up to know. Yeah. But I do remember him saying, "It's like, yeah, I remember hearing from this another friend, and stuff like that, and my uncle, and they were, family military or medical, just like my family's military medical. That's my family. They said within 13 minutes, flat, there were so many cruisers off the coast just waiting. Do it, go ahead." Senator Palpatine, do it. That. Yeah. And they finger on the trigger, just waiting for the next thing because the planes came from, so they were looking that direction. They were looking in the skies, looking everywhere, looking for the next thing because when it happened, I remember it was my first sergeant, Staff Sergeant Marufo, Gunny McKinney, and things like that. We were, at the time we would go work out and Marufo was like, hey, let's go over to First Sergeant's gym. Let's go do that. And it was wild because we went there, and then I remember First Sergeant goes, "Hey, turn the television on. Regis and Kelly's coming on. I'm gonna make Kelly my wife one day." He talked just like he was from Kentucky. Deep draw like that. And I was like, "Ah, sir." Went over, flipped it on, and a few minutes later, commercial played a few minutes later, and you get the da-da-da-da-da. And now, Regis Philbin and Kelly Ripa. As soon as they said Kelly Ripa, the breaking news happened. And then we saw it all happen right before our eyes because it happened so quickly. I mean, actually, it happened before that because there's that delay feed. And so it had already happened. And I was at MCRD San Diego. So I was all the way on the other side, completely. So didn't know it, didn't hear it. But a few of us turned and looked at, First Sergeant. And I remember Fleming, he kind of froze there for a minute. And he looked up and he said, "Sarge, what, Fleming? Are we going to war?" And he's like, "I don't know yet, but they hit us, we're going to hit back." I remember that vividly. And then we left there and we double timed it to the armory. We started arming to the teeth. I mean, you see droves of people coming out of everywhere, out of barracks and stuff, just like platoons just like going to the armory. And we all, at the time, we all had our personal stuff saved in the armory that we had picked and purchased in a way, our selection, stuff like that. And later they let me keep a few things. They're like, you want this? We'll have it changed and sent off to the, the manufacturer and made to where you can have it as a civilian and not that. We have to take things out of it and put the normal stuff back in. But, it cost you X amount of dollars. And some of the stuff I was like, yeah, sure. Eventually I didn't keep a lot of that stuff. There was a local sheriff's office, well, probably about an hour and a half from me. They didn't have a lot of stuff. And so I was like, I'm not going to use this anymore. So I surrendered it to them. I said, if you use it. I don't care. It's not mine anymore. It's now yours. Do with it you with will. If it was something that could help them in any situation, by all means. I mean, it was a sidearm. It was a Mossberg shotgun. And then another rig. And I can't tell you what the other rig was. It's not important. It's just another rig. Fairly large that did nice little, about, I don't know, about a hole like that. Yeah, about like that. About a hole like that at 800 yards.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was one of my babies. And yeah, I was like, I don't need that anymore. I'm not going hunting with that. And two, I can't go hunting with this stuff. So it just sat and collected dust in my safe. I had a big safe and all that stuff when I lived, and then for a little while, some of the stuff stayed in my dad's safe. And he's a hunter and also a collector. He has like black powder rifles and stuff. He's been bear hunting and like hunted all kinds of things. Never safari, but everything in the States. And every year he goes, when it's season, he goes up to West Texas. My brother-in-law owns a very large 318-acre ranch, and they hunt deer up there. Like before stream, I actually was having some delicious deer sausage.
Nice.
Yeah, it was delicious. And I got some more Aussie. Well, I was like, Aussie, I got jalapeno cheese deer sausage, and I got some other deer sausage, and I got some skirt steak and stuff like that. Because I don't really, now I've kind of, once you've eaten stuff like that, beef is like, chicken's like, that's good. Fish is, But once you start eating the other meat, you're like, beef who?
Yeah.
That lady's like, where's the beef? Nah, I don't know, but it's not, I don't have it here. It's not here. This is deer. It's not beef. This is deer. And stuff like that.
But yeah, no, and that's I mean, I've tried venison jerky before, and it's pretty good.
It's pretty
but
solid.
Before we go any further,
Sure.
it is the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that I said it's the time for me and my guests to promote our stuff. Now sometimes I'll have a guest on who's not a content creator, just
Sure.
know
No.
them
Yeah.
and know
Absolutely.
those
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I did have your stuff, so if you want to promote your stuff, you're more than welcome to.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Well, everybody, I'm Major Zap. Nice to meet every one of you. I'm a gaming content creator. I mostly really just video games. I'm actually been thinking lately of a second channel that's in the works. So I'm not going to tell you too much about that. You just have to be on the lookout for that. I'll make the announcements on Twitter or X when that's going to happen. So if you follow me over there, that's where you see me post other amazing content creators such as DaraMuth, DaVinci Gaming, Floristic, Casper Gaming 721, and many, many other amazing creators. Because I've made a lot of friends along the way. Had rocky times, had great times, separated, come back together, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh yeah.
That's just how relationships sometimes go. But recently, like one of the relationships that I missed so greatly that I personally botched for things that I did, their arms were open once again, and I'm grateful for that. I am extremely grateful for that. I will always be grateful for that. And I'll say this: there's a few of you in my chat that know who I'm speaking of. I missed you guys. I really, truly did. You are truly my online family in a way that you never realized. And I do apologize, and I've already apologized for a few people, but for the way I acted, and it was wrong. And I just left. I just abandoned, and that's just not me. And I had to learn my lesson from that. And I learned a very hard lesson, a very lonely lesson. I truly did. And I found other people, but it just wasn't the same. It just didn't. There was still that missing part and stuff like that. So there was that. But anyway, so yes, YouTube is my primary channel. I will always be on YouTube. Major Zap. It is a branded channel. You can find it Major Zap. You can Google Major Zap and top search. Takes you straight to everything that I have. It took me a long time to hit top page of Google. just years of work, and then you finally, it happens once they do a search like that. And pinned to the top of my chat, right up there, is Dara's link. Yeah, go up there, smash that link. It'll take you to his channel, and then right there, also in the description, is Dara's link to all of his links. Please use that. An amazing content creator. Go check out Dara's links and channels and everything like that. Have the conversation, all of that. And I'm sure he would love to, see you in his chat. I want to see you in my chat. We want to see you everywhere. We're here. I'm an entertainer. I'm sure, Dara, you could, I kind of can speak for that. You're an entertainer as well to a point. And I like what you do. Yeah. And it's entertaining. This is it's a form of entertainment. Podcast is a form of entertainment. So you're an entertainer. Regardless if you like it or not, you're doing it. You are one. Gratis.
I've put it underneath the entertainment tab, so take
Yeah,
it as it is.
I did too. Yeah, if you click that button, you say entertainment. Technically.
It's just under there to be under there, but I just go by the conversational.
Sure.
But like before, his links are there. They'll be both on Rumble and YouTube because I stream to both places. Because I'm not about being.
Yeah, and I had Rumble chat up, but I don't know what wrong with it. It's fine. I see the chat over here for Rumble, but I don't see it in this feed. But I see my chat. I have both of them side by side, watching them, but nothing is happening in the Rumble one. So maybe that link is this. I don't know. Go figure. Not an issue. We've been going this an hour. Too late.
Yeah, but regardless, so his links will be on both ends, and of course, from my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, because those are the only two places I do. Yeah. I only have so much mental bandwidth to do this stuff. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help being seen more by a lot more people. Every content creator wants that. It also helps in having other people on, like Major Zap, like Tomby, like actually Killer Games Mike in the chat, and so many others. Then they have had on over 200 at this point. I think so, on over 270 guests.
Nice.
Many of them are, and it's a mixture. It's a mixture of creator and not creator, because I'm not interested in being just one side of the equation.
Yeah.
I pick both. Because it's all from my end of things, it's a bit of a missed opportunity, but it's an understandable miss, because
it's by choice. Ultimately, it's by choice to a point.
Yeah, creators understand the scheduling. They understand the respect and all that stuff. When you're dealing with someone who's considered a non-creator or someone who's never created content, you are going into an open field, and you don't know. But I take on that risk anyway, because I find there's more with that. But anyway,
no, go ahead.
No, it's all the any help with the engagement on either end is much appreciated. Of course, hold on, I gotta here we go. That is I gotta go down. That is my link right there. Again, like Major Zap said, he has this link, the link too, but right there, it'll take you to my Twitter X. It'll take you to my email. I have an email there. It also takes you to my like a link to Discord, but it's mostly just for DMing. Not really interested in setting up a server. One, I've heard too many horror stories, and two, because it's just much more mental bandwidth I'm willing to negotiate on. So
that's completely up to you. If you need one, use one. It's just a tool. Just a communication tool. But that's where I'm part of so many channels and stuff like that on there. I check that. It's just part of my rhythm. It's just part of the rhythm of the machine, and I try to do my best to keep that machine well oiled and just kind of keep the wheels rolling. And sometimes it feels like I'm going straight uphill, or then sometimes I'm going straight downhill, and it's like it's a rough ride up, and then it's like a wild ride going down. And right now, lately, it's just been a wild ride going down, and it's been a wild ride. It's been fun. A lot of hard work finally paying off, so it's good to see.
Yeah, that's understandable. But again, because I've seen some of those media kits some content creators do, and I'm like, no.
Oh yeah, no. There are some who just automatically break in and stuff like that. But ultimately, I'm not chasing fame or money by any means, because I've been in that world previously. Did for many years, and then I at one point I was even sought after. Like, oh, you need this person, or you want to get this person, and a call would come in, and I'd have to turn stuff down, and it just that aside, I didn't care for, Now, and two, on this part of it, I don't want to work for somebody else. and I really don't want to. I want to be my own boss. And so in this element, I am my own boss. I am the only one. I wear all the hats, and I love that because it's to me, it's freeing. It
Yeah.
truly is. And yeah.
But all other bits rest on you, so there's that too.
Yeah.
It's a risk reward thing. But anyway, for the last thing I do, because on Rumble I'm part of the creator program, but I'm not really. I'm just kind of stuck in it because
Sure.
if I meet certain minimum requirements, I get to stay in, but I don't get to get any of the money out of it. So,
Right.
and I'm not really interested in that. But beyond that point, I am part of Proton's partner program, and it was, I think it was earliest this year, they were promoting their partner program on Twitter X.
Yeah.
And so I figured, enter in my stuff, see if I get it or not. I really didn't think I was going to, because
Hmm.
usually, like, if you're like Razer or any of those companies, they're usually looking for big followings, sell the stuff, all affiliation, sponsorships, all that stuff, right?
Right.
And and a while back, uh there was once they entered in, it was like 24 to 48 hours after I had put my stuff in. It's like, all right, you're in. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because I was like, I don't think you want me there. But I've been with it for quite some time,
Sure.
and obviously I use Proton on a daily basis. Now this is for the Proton Unlimited plan, which encompasses all their stuff. Proton. If people don't know, Proton Mail, Proton Drive, Proton Pass, Proton
I've heard of
VPN.
it. Hmm.
And again, I use that on a daily basis. But because I'm part of the program, their partner program, they have offers that you can get and stuff. So I was showcasing the pieces and bits, like, here's Proton Mail for a certain period of time, Proton Pass, all that. But then I decided, because I already have Proton Unlimited and I kind of have it all encompassing, and I would pay like $48 a year for my end of things. I'd rather just promote the whole package, because there's a lot of great stuff they do
Right.
on that scale. Like, they're privacy oriented and all stuff. So one of the things, and there's a link, you can go check it out for yourself. But one of the things is, like, so if you want Proton Mail, right? Proton Mail is pretty good. Pretty good at, you can use something called an alias email, which
Hmm.
means you personally can, they give you an email thing. You can use it on a website, and that will direct towards your actual email,
Yep.
but it's not yours. And so what happens is, if they get spammy or whatever, you can cut that off and you don't get anything from that anymore, because it's an email you can use. The other thing is that they're very good about the spam stuff. Like, I have AOL, I have iCloud, and I have Proton. Guess which ones have the most spam in them?
I'm gonna say iCloud and AOL.
There you go. Well, I also have Gmail too, because if you have
Gmail is
YouTube, you
actually
have
pretty decent
I
to a point.
to a point.
But I mostly use Yahoo
Yeah,
because it seems to work for me,
Mhm.
and I basically put all my stuff that way. But honestly, now you do Proton like that, I'll take a look at them. I may just move all my stuff over there. I mean,
Yeah, they have
because
a
I think
yeah.
it might be a helpful tool. Honestly,
Well, you know what? Here's while we're here, while I just showcase a bit too, because
sure.
what you'll see on the website, because then that way you'll kind of get comfortable, like, okay, so he's not
Mm.
just trying to sell me something. Because I
No,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not
I
at all.
don't do this for the money. I do it because I use the benefits,
Yeah.
and I want to promote the benefits, because again, you hear stories of, like, the companies
Mhm.
that get hacked, and the
Yeah.
passwords get out there and all stuff, and they do a lot of great stuff. So this is what the link will take you. So there you go. So, tell you all this stuff right here. It's hard to stay private online, of course. Data
Mhm.
breaches on the rise, like I just said, and data is up for sale. Data brokers. There's another group, a channel called um, Scammer Payback, and good lord, your data gets sold out there, and these scammers, man, they are awful. They are
Yeah,
aw-
I'm actually quite aware who Pierogi is.
oh yeah, the people they have to deal with, pretty much all from India. Pretty much all from
Hmm.
India, and it's scary. So,
You want to know where they are? High Tech City
oh yeah,
in
I
India.
I
Yeah,
believe that. Yeah,
yeah,
and some of the places they show, they look like they're in these nice
yeah.
apartments and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of times they set all this temporary stuff up, temporary cameras. They make them CCTVs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But the thing about that is they only set up their protocols a certain way. They're not that hard to get into, to be fair.
yeah, and
That
I've
part.
seen some. Yeah, I've seen some other people like Scam Baiter and some other ones.
Mhm.
But so this is what the Proton Unlimited includes. It includes Proton VPN, Proton Mail, Proton Drive, and Proton Pass. And they show you like different parts, what these different parts
Hmm.
include. Like Proton Mail, send end-to-end encrypted emails to anyone, no ads or trackers in your inbox. Protect your email address from data breaches. Proton Drive, keep your files safe and encrypted. Prevent your photos from being used to train AI. Share files securely and collaborate on docs in real time. They do have a doc thing. It's not like WordSuite, so just keep that in mind. It's somewhat
Yeah.
basic, but they are improving over time. And Proton Pass is their password manager.
Hmm.
And one of the special things about Proton Pass is that they have something that's like it actually sees if your data has been put out on the dark web,
Yep.
like your password and stuff, and it will do that. Um, but I mean, here's more of the stuff too. Like if you get the unlimited plan, this is the extra stuff you get. Um, I do know that with Proton Drive, at least while I've had the Proton Unlimited plan, they have given me 10 extra gigs each year for as long as I've been in the plan,
Right.
right? So it's just like 10 extra gigs. You know, you're in a full year. They give you. I don't know if they're still doing anymore. I haven't seen any emails
Right.
recently, but they used to, as far as I remember, they did that. But there's a whole bunch of stuff, and again, this is like the once every month. If you pay for every month, it's like $13. But if you do like the whole year, you get the 23% off. That's where it
Yeah.
goes annual. But regardless, it's I I just try to promote it regardless of money because I believe everyone, even though you can't be 100% on the internet, there's no way you could be
I mean, the
100%.
more layers you have, like basically an onion, the more layers of an onion you have, if you're in the center of it, the higher chance of, you being protected and the less chance you have of your information getting out there and being exposed and bad things happen, from that. Not necessarily that all that information, just it's information leak is not a good thing.
Yeah,
And then sometimes if that's just leaking, that just leads to bad actors taking advantage of that
yeah,
easily. The more information that's there, the easier it is for them. They don't have
yeah,
to do as much to get to you to make
yeah.
changes. The more that's out there. So the less that's out there, the less
Hmm.
that's available, it just makes it harder for them to affect your life. And because
Yeah.
they can affect your life in so many ways that's
Mm.
becomes unreal and undoable at times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It,
So being
I
safe is really important online. And anything you post on the internet, make sure this is very clear.
yeah.
Anything you post on the internet, no matter if you delete it, it's on the internet forever,
Mm.
in perpetuity. But unless you have a service that's scrubbing the internet for you, you pay for stuff like that. If you're just an average user and you're posting stuff and saying whatever, say what you want. That's fine. Just know that's on the internet forever. Make sure you're very clear on that one.
Well, since I brought up, since Scammer Payback, they were
Mm-hmm.
doing a one time, these stories that they had gotten,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's this one story. And I've said it before too, but there was this one story where they were talking to this like 7-year-old guy. He's like a farmer guy, he's
Yep.
rural, all this stuff. You remember that one?
Yeah.
And he had I think the story was he lost his wife like a few years ago, so he was
I remember that one vividly.
yeah,
Yeah. That was a
and
very sad situation.
yeah, and they didn't get everything. Now there was a
But
point
they
they
got
didn't get it.
enough.
They got enough. And the enough part was like 70K.
Yeah.
70K. They took 70K from a 70-year-ish old man, and it you no joke. Whether it be email, whether it be text, whether it be all this stuff, they will try to come at all corners to get at
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely. Because, I mean,
scary.
Geek Squad,
Yeah.
when I went on, like, as I was also a field agent, until I advanced and stuff like that. So I was a field agent. And it was like, I'm having issues with my computer, or my emails are doing this, or it's stuff like that. I would get there. And I mean, I even like one of my clients, they're like, yeah, I was working with this company and stuff like that. And they showed me, they printed out what they sent. And it was basically, they printed out basically what was a text document or whatever they used at the time. They printed this out and had, I remember the company's name. The
Uh-huh.
company's name, I remember this as long as I live. The company's name was Vacillate.
Uh-huh.
Well, that word means back and forth.
Uh-huh.
So they weren't a real company. They were a scammer, and
Mhm.
they had got their hooks in the system. And I went, okay,
Yeah.
I understand what's happening. I believe. Have you like sent any money or paid for any services? I kind of started asking them questions. No, but I was actually going to call them later today. But I decided since my nephew said get Geek Squad, they'll come look at the computer itself, and then they'll kind of go through everything, explain everything. I said, please don't send them anything because this is not a real company. They were asking for over $600 for nothing. That was just the start. They start there and like, well, it seems like that check is not going through or online transfer. Is there any way you can give us the routing number and things like that? That's how they worked in. Once they have your routing number and your account number, they can go in and drain your account like within seconds. It's so fast because one person's talking and then somebody else is like listening in and they're ready to start like typing the numbers and then boom, it's gone. Yeah. And then they have a fake landing page and various things like that. I mean, for those who've watched Gamer Payback or Kit Boga or Jim Browning or any of those, they really hunt them. Those are hunters. What they do is very dangerous work. Make sure you're very clear on that. There's a very, very dangerous job they do. Oh yeah. Don't think it's not, because the people that they're sometimes going after have more money and influence in a very, very bad way, and know very bad people and can make very bad things happen quite quickly.
It's basically a crime syndicate.
It is actually, yes. And honestly, the scamming industry is, was it 2024? The last report told of what was known, not all of it, but best guess of information. We were looking somewhere in the billions. Scamming industry is $1 billion industry, and plus. And you're like, whoa, and all of it's from theft. Yeah, all of it, and you're like, wow, billions in theft. But the thing about it is, they're not where you think they are. They're always rerouting and stuff like that. So they're always running. And then if one place gets caught, 6-7 hours later, another one pops up. And it could be the same company with it under a new name and all of that, because they just, this is what they got us. And then by the time the authorities get there, it's a ghost town or a ghost building. There's nothing there.
And India has a corrupt government.
To a point.
To a degree.
To a point. Yes. Because ultimately, yes, but there are a few parts of it. You got to go through a certain channel in the right way, and it's just extra work, and they know it's layers. Yeah. Because really over there, if you get it and report it to the right people, and then they actually act on it, and they show up, over there, just basically doing those things, and they catch you, they're going to broadcast your information, everything on the news. It's a major disgrace to your family. So that's what it is. It's like they'll reach out to your immediate family, your father, your mother, mostly your father. That's usually the first. And then my children's doing what? Yeah. And it's just, and they want nothing to do with the kid then, because it's or they don't have the parents anymore. Yeah. You know, it's just it's a very weird situation. And I've kind of delved in that situation and lent my hand and my skills. I don't do it anymore because I'm, one, too busy, and two, it was getting to a point where I was like, this is a little much for me and my skill set at this point. Yep. I think this person do a much better job than I know. I'm going to tip my hat, bow out, and just and watch you from afar.
It behooves me not to kind of, I mean, not in a detriment to my way because I don't care, but it behooves me not to promote, in a sense, pierogi and scammer payback.
Oh, I'm not by any means. Yeah, no, not by any means. Hey, Caspi.
They do something that even our own U.S. government has a tough time doing itself. It seems
true, but also too, they do work with certain people in certain agencies that technically, John, in the gray area, we're going to look the other way on this one because you're doing us a solid to a point. You're taking a little weight off us, and because we're busy with other crap, so it's your crap. We don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Not saying exactly what they're doing, but they do some good. I will say there is some good that does come out of it. Now, capitalizing on that, I'm a little torn on that.
There was they had Scammer Payback. They did have Kit Boga on.
Yeah,
they did have like a little chat session, and they talked a bit about that, right? Like, in order for us to get that kind of information out there, because if you just put those videos out there, people won't want to watch it. So we have to make it entertaining somewhat. So
sure, but that's fine. But they also use that too. Think about this too. It's a trap. It's also a trap because what they
Yeah.
do, it's like, oh, we know who you are. Oh, great.
Mm.
I know who you are. It becomes a cat and mouse game.
Oh yeah,
And that's
because
what they want it to
do
do.
that.
They want it to be
Yeah.
a cat and mouse game because then that person gets angry. Say
Mm.
the scammer gets angry at them.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Well, the first thing in any type of situation, strategy, if they're
Mhm.
angry, their judgment's clouded.
Yep.
They're not going to they'll make the wrong step. They'll slip up somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And then they'll like, and then I love it. I like watching Jim Browning when he actually goes in
Mm.
and he's like, you can tell me that, but you're telling me things I already know. And who is this person next to you? Why are they yawning? What do you?
Yeah.
And they just kind of like, what? Wait a minute. How do you know that it really does that? It's fear. They're using it the right way. They're using that as a
Yeah.
tool. They're using their skills that they've been trained in. Some of them actually work for some of those agencies
Yeah.
still to this day, and that's what their job is. They were assigned, and
Yeah.
so go out, make a profile, do these things,
Yeah.
draw them in. You're the bait.
Mhm.
Be the bait, and then also not only you're the bait, they think you're just a little minnow, but it turns out you're a lionfish.
Yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
just the side of that coin can easily flip and turn it on them, and they do some good. They do help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I will say that. And Proton, it seems like they're helping a lot of people too through their services and their availability and offerings of that. It seems really good. I'm actually quite interested. Thank you for sharing that. I'm really interested in that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and again, it's about. I mean, obviously, you use the link because that does the whole thing, but because it's not only because of like what Pierogi and his crew do, but it's because you want you want those systems that will to some degree work in your benefit, and of course they get audited, you know, by people and all that stuff, and
Sure.
they're based in Switzerland, so it has the highest privacy laws for now.
Sure.
But it's just about there are so many different products out there. There are just so many different products.
Yeah.
And while you could, obviously do your due diligence, right? You do your due
Sure.
diligence, you choose the ones that work for you. But for me, it's like I've used this stuff for I don't know how long, like 5 or 6 years,
Gotcha.
whenever I started paying for that. Um, but it's like one of those things where you don't want to sell people on a false system. You want like I use a product, I've been using it for this long,
Sure.
and there are free versions of the Proton Mail and Proton VPN. They're not as much as the unlimited plans, so you do have that kind of difference. But the point of the matter is you can try it out and you can see for yourself because
Hmm.
I'm telling you what, I can go to, like we're saying, I can go to my AOL and I can go to my iCloud and I can see the amount of spam in each and every,
Sure.
whether my inbox or spam box doesn't matter. I go to my Proton one, rarely do I get a spam.
Right.
Rare-
And there's a caveat to everything. There always is. There always will be. It must exist. There's those good things. There's the bad things, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
well, there's this. What about that? And then it seems like they do a little bit of heavy lifting to a point and kind of pull the pressure off you and give your privacy kind of back to you, because ultimately that's what everybody wants. Even if you don't know you want it, you really do deep down want your privacy to a point. And why not use
Yeah.
something to kind of help you with that? And help
Mhm.
achieve that and attain that and keep that yours.
Yeah.
And that goes with anything,
Yeah.
just like as a content creator.
Yeah.
This is what you see. You know this about me. You know what I've done. But as far as I'm not going to dox myself, tell you my real name, tell you my address,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But,
Yeah.
when it comes to scammers and whether it's social engineering, okay?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it boils down to social engineering in some shape or form that
Mhm.
leads to them taking something that's not theirs and just going from there.
Mhm.
And it leads to one of it, and then ultimately sometimes when it weighs out, it just unfortunately becomes a bad outcome.
Yeah.
And there may not be anything you can do about it. It's just you have to kind of chalk it up and be like, well, that was a bad outcome.
Yeah.
Well, what did we learn? We learned what
Yes.
not to do and what
Yeah.
to do. And
Mhm.
that goes with anything in life ultimately.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just take it for what it is and hopefully you can recover. That's the
yeah.
hope.
And so I mean that kind of brings the points like so because you've kind of dealt with this a bit like
Yeah.
what would you give for the average like regular person like you say like a senior or somebody who just doesn't really know like what is the things they should be careful on like
So really, passwords. Okay,
passwords.
passwords. That's probably going to be my very first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I to check a password. So I was like, "May I have your password?" There's a website that I would use. Basically, I put the password in. It's secure, completely secure. And what it does, it runs an algorithm on that. And it'll tell me rough estimate and best guess of how long it would take somebody to get through based off, letters or what you're existing. Like, I use my name Dog Fluffy. Okay, so Dog Fluffy. Is there numbers? Anything? No, just Fluffy Dog or whatever it is. Like recently, my parents decided to go with satellite internet from Starlink because they're traveling and they offered a great package. That's a roaming package, not promoting them. They're not sponsored of the channel by any means.
Right.
If you want to be, you could be. Right here. Links are right here to both of us. You want to sponsor us? We'll take it. Money right here. Right here. Put it right here, and I'll just shove it in my pocket and then take it to the bank. But so it really is passwords. So let's go back to the passwords. When she was setting it up, and she had me set it because I'm the super tech savvy son, because of everything I've done. And I was like, and I did education, like this is best practices. This is how you set it up. Even though it's very easy to set up, she's not tech savvy. She's a retired nurse. That's her world. Tech is my world. And so I did that, and I was like, well, let's go with, for the password, something. And remembering passwords is hard too for a lot of people, especially seniors.
Lord,
So how we get through that, right? Right, from like, do it. Yes, Forrest, I read that. Sorry, Larry did it. So I would say something that's memorable for you that really holds something special to you, but then add a little bit of this to it. So you like this and you like this. So as for example, the best way, and you don't have to do this. You could take a favorite color, take something like an object that represents whatever this is, put the color, the object, and put a number, 2 digits, 2 digits, not 1, 2 digits, and then a symbol or 2 of the symbol, double, doesn't matter how you want to do it. That's a little bit easier, one, to remember. One, it's your favorite color. Okay, they're going to have to know you to know what your favorite color is first and foremost. They got to really know you. A lot of people just go around, hey, my favorite color is this. They just go broadcast. So that's not common knowledge. That's something you inside in here know. So it's easier for you to remember. And then that thing, that whatever this object is, say the color's blue. It sounds silly, it sounds simple. Blue truck, then the digits, then the symbols. That alone, you run that through this algorithm that I've used, and it gives you like a spit out. Like, so the one I created, and then I changed it. But you say, how secure is that? It's like, how secure is my password? I think that's how secure is my password? I can't remember. So you do that, and it tells you basically an estimate. Like the one I created, I ran it through there, and it said it's going to take 1 billion years. I was like, good luck getting in. That gives somebody plenty of time, the authorities, somebody helping. It gives us time, because that's ultimately what we need, is time to stop an attack, if we can. And then that gives us, or at least not to stop it, but find how they got in. Find the why they got in, how they got in, where they got in, when they got in. All of that. You start asking those questions, and then once you start asking those questions, and like, oh, then they feel kind of a certain way, and be like, no. They got in. They took advantage of you and your trust and everything that is you. Let's remedy that today. People, it happens all the time. You're not the only one. Millions and millions of people are affected on this every single minute. Literally, every 60 seconds, somebody's information is leaked or manipulated through social engineering. Or I don't like using the word hack. And people go hackers. Go, well, good. Be afraid of that, because it's a real thing. We live our lives online. Banking. We share our photos. We share our favorite things. We share a recipe. Things like that. Hey, Yarny. Hi. Good to see you. Hi, sweetheart. And we do everything online. We are an online society. We have become an online society. We truly have. I mean, everything. Like, as an example, what was the company where it was, they had BSOD, blue screen of death, on banking systems, on flight terminals, on medical equipment, and the protocol just turned it on its head, and in through that, because of that situation, because of a one bad config or one bad password that was manipulated or some kind of change, unfortunately, we lost some people. It was unnecessary for that to happen. So protect yourself however you can to keep stuff like that from happening. Because the most important thing, if you don't protect yourself, you're going to lose what's most precious to you.
And that's what for again going back to Proton, like they have their password manager. There's two different forms. There's the garbled, letters and numbers and symbols, and then you have this like word and then a number at the end. I don't know what they call that. But
you should see my getting into my rig. It's a pictogram. Good luck.
Goodness sake.
Yeah, you're not getting in. You'd have to solve the puzzle to get it to log in. Nah. I wish you the best. If you're a puzzle solver, you're a puzzle solver like me. Come on in. Yeah. Let's play a puzzle. Let's play a game.
There you go. Almost sounds like Jigsaw. Let's play a game.
Do you want to play a game?
Oh yeah.
It's 5 seconds long. Wait, we're not talking about length. Anyway, moving on.
But no, you can set the length of your password, and they'll tell you if it's a weak one or a strong one.
Yeah.
Like
sure. There's a lot of services do that. Definitely use those services because it helps you.
Yes.
Any service like that will help you, keep your privacy, feel secure, and you definitely want to be secure in today's internet and online society. You want to be secure because there's so many unknowns. And honestly, I can say this. I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. Yarny, that is perfectly fine. Thank you for stopping by. I thank you. They have to go, so they just want to stop in and say hi. But I hate saying it, but the internet's a cesspool.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a cesspool. I mean, there's great parts, there's good parts, but you got to weigh the good and the bad. Just try not to be part of the bad, or try to be the good part at least, and kind of gravitate that way. It's a great thing, the internet is. It truly is. It's a wonderful tool. It's a place we live and are entertained. I mean, we stream movies, we stream music, and ultimately, even in our vehicles and cars, it's everywhere. In the computers we have in our pockets, cell phones. Everything. We're all, my home. You can see all this. This all is smart lighting. It's connected to my network. Cameras are connected to my network. Well, the cameras are on the intranet, an intranet that I have set up with multiple systems that connects to the internet to get just the signal in for that specific thing. I basically say, you can have a signal because I need a signal from the ISP. Because if I have to need an update, then I'll open that door, let the update in, and then slam the door shut again. And be like, okay, that's enough. That's all I needed. And I just kind of shut off the like a dam. Just close off, just like that. It let it in, close it off. Yep. Because it's only for, know when you need it, know when you don't need it, ultimately. And then
for,
go ahead.
Zero says, sliding by, remember to hit the like button. It's free.
Thank you, Zero.
And I also want to bring up from Flairistics, I like your open take on it. Hope you get it bigger. Well, I mean, the conversational stuff is for what I do, I really didn't see a lot of other content creators doing it because, again, it's mostly just content creator which is understandable. There's an understanding to it, but for me, it's limiting because you have people who have tens of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
And my thought was well, if you could take a quarter of that, that's almost content for the rest of your life at that point.
Yeah.
Because you have so many people to talk to and re-talk to. Obviously, there's no conversation that has to end. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, for me to say over 270 different people, I mean, a few of them have blocked me, so there's that.
I heard about that. I was listening in on that when I went, well, unfortunate as it is, it just happens.
Yeah, a recent one just blocked me, so I was like, all right, I can see where this is going, but I get to
Don't worry about me doing that because I mean I am honored to be here. And again, thank you for the invitation. And I will tell you right now, if my schedule permits in the future, whatever it may be, I would definitely love to be back. Absolutely. I love this conversation. I love including our chats and just, having a conversation, not a conflict. I live by that. It's a conversation, not a conflict. I'd rather have conversation than conflict. Truly. I did it for far too long. I'm good. I'd rather talk about it and let's talk it out. if
Well,
we can.
and that's the one thing too is like when I was before I even done anything because I was a consumer like I did mostly on YouTube and then Rumble came along to some degree.
Yeah.
But it was like when you have people on people ask like a content creator like okay where do I start what do I do and they'd say like get a camera get a mic just start from there go from there.
You need another content creator. One, as an example, I try to help where I can, when I can.
Mm,
I'm an open book. I will teach you what I've learned along the way
mm,
and say, hey, this might work for you. Try it out. If you have questions, I'm here. If not, I'll say, hey, try this. This is who I learned it from. If you're having audio issues,
yeah.
That's how I learned to. I mean, I'd already had some knowledge, which gave me the benefit, but some of the new equipment I'd had to make it sound a certain way. I didn't have that on like doing this now. And I wanted it to sound one. And my mic, I've upgraded it different ones over the years and things like that. And just real quick, thank you, Sure, for sending that.
Mm,
That was great. I appreciate that. Yeah, like stuff I have,
yeah.
I was blessed and lucky enough that I got involved in certain things and they're like, hey, you want some equipment? I'm like, sure. It's helping me along the way.
Yeah.
And like Beacon, I have one of their prototypes. I use it for my audio controls. I use an old audio controller mixed in with that from Avid from film school.
Wow.
I put that all together. I like analog. I like analog to digital. I like having be able to sweeten that. That sounds good. I monitor everything. It's just that's from me and from the industry because I did it for so long
Yeah.
that I was like, I like that. I like digital,
Mm,
like this, not USB. It's XLR. It's got a phantom power from one system bouncing into another with a cloud lifter because that's what I wanted to do. That's what I
right.
knew. I knew so much about that. So if there's ever a problem, I could fix the hardware myself. I didn't go, the software crapped out. Well,
Mm,
out of luck. I wanted to be able to have as much control in my hand as possible.
yeah.
And trust me, I've had technical issues. We
Yeah.
all have technical issues.
Yeah.
But like today, actually yesterday and today, stream just went.
Yeah.
But I was able, with my skills, to have it back up in less than 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
That window. I didn't want to lose anybody. I didn't want them to miss anything. I was afraid of losing people. I said, I don't want you to miss this. Something's big is happening right now. I don't want you to, miss that. Unless I technically want you to miss it, and then I'm using FOMO.
Yeah.
I do. I'll admit. I use FOMO. It works. It
Yeah.
works. It works. It works. You can't get around that.
Uh-huh.
It's ingrained in us. The fear of missing out on something will
Yeah.
eventually just kind of plants its seed.
Mm,
And I'm sitting there going, I'm not taking advantage of it. It's a thing in existence. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, there are people that take advantage of it. And I'm like, really?
yeah.
You got to do
Yep.
that? I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately. So, I digress. I digress.
One time only. One time only. The show will be here only one time only. Yeah.
Yeah, like the radio announcements for like monster truck shows. I look like Sunday,
yeah.
Sunday, Sunday. You get that, and you're like, sure, I'm gonna go because you said it's only this day. And then if the kids hear it, and they're like, I gotta go. I want to go see the truck squash a truck. Because the kids they're ingrained in that, and we kind of lose that a little bit as we get older, or we forget that, and it just happens with age and stuff like that. For myself, like fear of missing out. I'm like, I've gotten so used to that and over it. I'm just like, you hear a commercial, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Blech.
Yeah, it's definitely works for what it is because I mean again you see it used so many times with like
Yeah.
people again people sell stuff and all that it is what it is some people make a full-time business off this but I mean I feel like yeah I can see where people want to get from that 9 to 5 and all
Yeah.
that which is understandable but for me it's very much freeing because if you have to rely on content creation for your payment right? And a lot of people do. It's very
And
yeah.
actually, that's actually my dream.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy to a point and almost insane. You have to be insane to want to do this for a living.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's if the money comes through. Ultimately, going way back before even this, even before all that, I love theater. I like being parts of stuff like that. So we really didn't have a strong theater program in my school, but I was always a theater kid.
Nice.
Always was. I had friends who did at different schools, stuff like that, and and I'd been in several productions, live productions, and like that way before, and then after the industry. Let's see, what was one that I can bring up? Neil Simmons, a noted playwright, did a version of The Odd Couple, kind of flipped the script on it, where instead of it being where it's men women, it ended up being women men, like the Jack Lemmon character and stuff like that. And I played a character. So I was actually working at Geek Squad at the time. The stage director came in, was having an issue with a device. I worked on it, but they also had the script with them. And they were, as I was working on stuff, they were pacing back and forth, reading both parts of a monologue to dialogue. There would be a monologue, and there's like, and then dialogue will pop up, and back and forth, back and forth, the back and forth. Right. And I said, "Hey, tablet's working good. Oh, great! I have that on there, so it's easier to, I can have stuff bookmarked on the tablet." I said, "Do you mind if to help you out, if just show an example that it's working, that I run lines with you?" Because I was sitting there going, I want to run lines. This sounded interesting. What I was hearing was interesting. So I'm sitting there going, in the back of my head, it's like, nobody's around. My boss wouldn't know me. And I was the only one there. And that person was there. It was late at night. And I was like, red lines, something like that. And they're like, oh, you're actually pretty good. You know what? This is probably oversharing, but they said, we just lost our lead role for a certain character. Would you be interested in auditioning? And I was kind of taken back. Those opportunities, coming once in a lifetime. Eminem said it best. Opportunities coming at once, slime. So you gotta go. All that stuff. And I said, out of curiosity, who's the director? And it was Don. I'm trying to remember the director's name. Don Wilson Glenn, a noted playwright, and actually from my hometown. And I went, oh, I know Don. He actually knows my spouse. They're friends on Facebook, and they actually know each other. And we went to a production that Don did about 6-7 months ago. And it was a great show. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. I was stage director of that, and everything like that. And I said, tell me a time, and when they wrote down their stuff like that. And I met him at a local coffee shop that I went to anyway. We actually had a meeting, and just to kind of get FaceTime and stuff like that. And it was a great meeting. And then Don said, hey, the auditions are such and such. Would you be interested? Show up here. Oh, I auditioned. They had already set everybody else, and there was nobody else auditioning for the filler because nobody, I guess, cared to, or I don't know what the situation was. I got the part. So I ended up playing a character named, God, what was the name again? Manuelo Costazuela. And so I went and started watching like Jack Lemmon and watching The Odd Couple and watching live productions of that. And then I watched, since it was a comedy, right? I started watching like The Broken English and how they did stuff like that in movies. So I started kind of my method acting, really starting to spread my wings as a method actor and be like, so I like, my name is Manuelo Costazuelo. It's a pleasure to meet you. The broken, fun on this, off of Saturday. I'd watch Saturday Night Live and the different little skits and stuff. And I was like, okay, take a little bit of dash of this, a little bit of, Steve and a little bit of this and a little bit of that and throw that in there. And then I went out and I was like, what's the wardrobe? It's like, that's up to you. Kind of read the script and see. So I went to the local Goodwill, got some silk pants that were pink. I already had some Stacey Adams shoes, and I got a shirt, and I'm already kind of, I wear this because I'm a fuzzy buzzy. Right. And so I didn't, and I kept the shirt open, did the whole hamburger meat thing. Yeah. That's that Italian kind of sleazy. Yeah, the gold necklace and stuff like that. And the Spaniard mixture Italian kind of. I played the part. I already had, of course, I had this. Yeah. Right? This was a little bit, not as gray as it is now. Yeah. And I showed up like for a couple of rehearsals like that. Like I'd start, because I wanted to method act. I wanted to, and when I did that and I put that on, like I'd go in the bathroom, wash my face, and then I'd just kind of straighten everything, look in the mirror, and be like, go break a leg. I tell myself that. Yeah. Just to encourage myself. And then I go out and I'd come out, of that in rehearsal, and I'd already be in that. And it just helped me embody the character. I felt more comfortable. I got my markers, my placements better. And then we did 17 shows at a dinner theater and did that. But the funny thing is, where we did it was a VFW, a Veterans of Foreign War post. Yeah. and they had like a little small place because the acting troupe had lost their spot and they were looking for a new spot.
Right.
And I said, hey, I know somebody that's actually been looking for talents and a acting troupe at this location. They reached out to me and said, if you ever knew anybody, and it just kind of was serendipitous. It kind of, the puzzle pieces started falling into line.
Oh yeah.
And I was like that. And then they were like, well, this place isn't built for this and stuff like that. I said, that's absolutely fine, because not only can I do this, whatever I did in the industry too, I could help you retrofit this place. So I helped them retrofit the place, new lighting, they purchase orders, shipping, logistics, bills of lading, getting everything in the equipment. Then I installed it, and then I even built a couple of prototypes because of their power and stuff. Because of my knowledge and power, I made some prototypes and then sent my prototype. Had a company in Canada actually build the prototype and then ship it down. And then it's installed, and it still exists. There's 4 of them. They're still there to this day. They're my children. They're the only ones in existence, and this is the only place that will ever have them.
Wow.
It converts 120 volt over to 277 and then higher. It's a distro. It's small. They're about this big. You can plug it into 120, and it's a distro and converts out into Sockoplex. I can get into the tech, and I could lose you in the weeds, everybody in the weeds, so quickly with all the terminology and tech. They'd be like,
wow.
what the is all of that? I have no idea. He's speaking Greek in a foreign alien language.
Right.
To some people who understand, absolutely. Because I did that for many, many years. I was like, okay, I could take this. I could solder this in here. I could put the and then using Ohm's law, using voltage and all of that stuff. I was able to make it safe, put it in the attic, and then run leads off of that to power LED lights, like Mackie LED lights and movers, and do a show and installed the trussing. And then I called a friend, called in a favor at a company that made curtains, had a custom curtain made with the motors and everything like that, had all that, installed all that. Took me about 6 weeks. Me and at the time, my spouse came and helped me, and I called a friend. It was just 3 people retrofitting this place. The carpenters came in that actually worked for the place. I said, sound booth, wrong spot. Stage, tear it out. I drew a plan on sheet, and I was like, this needs to go here. And he looks at it and goes, translates to me. And then I come back, and they'd actually ripped all that out, built new staging in the back. And the guy that I'd worked with, he had actually worked in the music industry from back in the day, toured a lot. So he knew about running audio and lines. And get this, he scared me. I had never seen anybody do this. He goes, yeah, you know how we used to get those cables from one side to the next? I was like, how's that? Crossbow. I said, you're kidding, right? You're kidding. And he goes, no, check this out. And he tied on the crossbow, and he gets it done, and he goes, sting, and it stuck to the wall, and it dragged the cable with it. And he says, you ain't got to crawl through there anymore, do you? I was like, excuse me, what in the hell did I just see? It was an old hippie dude. I mean, he had, the things that they did in the industry back then, he was applying to this. Like a 100-foot snake. A snake is like a big cable with copper and everything in it, and it has over 62, XLR leads on it. It goes plugged in the main board and stuff like that for audio, and had the monitors, the speakers, and everything was positional. We worked together. It was an awesome time. He was a biker, and so I learned so much from him. He learned so much from me. And then did a little bit of set designing with him, and then ended up acting. And it ended up being a dinner theater kind of situation. Nice. But it wasn't, we didn't really serve, they had concessions, but it was like you get drinks. And the place actually had a bar. Nice. And so you could actually sit down, get a good drink, get a snack. We even did what they call high tea. High tea is when they do afternoon matinee, or people also call them matinees, but in theater it's called high tea. In movies it's matinee, and in theater it's high tea. And that's when we did high tea, that's when the wealthy would show up to partake in the theater. It just was. You would never see those people, because there's a section of my town that's where the wealthy live, and then there's the low parts. In every town, there's always small towns. There's always that, because I'm from a small town. And so I was like, oh, the wealthy are here. Well, I'm going to mess with them. It's comedy. I'm gonna throw a joke. I'm going to ad lib this joke, and they're going to go, excuse me, what? If you're going to be there, I kind of looked at Donna and said, at this part, can I ad lib certain things, and it'll change throughout each show, because that makes the show each show different too. Yeah. They're like, well, they said, wait, I don't remember them saying that. Mm-hmm. Well, no, they did say, no, they didn't say that. They said this, and then they're like, oh no, I got to go back and watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get a ticket again. That kind of worked. It did, and it was just all around fun. It was a great time, and the cast was awesome. Actually, some of the cast actually were friends with my spouse, and they had went to school together, so they knew each other. So it was nice to kind of connect with their long lost friends or people they went to school with. Yeah, exactly. High tea. Zero's asking high tea. Yeah, it's called high tea. It's the opposite of matinee for film for theater. That's what it is. Just matinee. Just the best way to explain it.
Matinee. Just get rid of all the fancy stuff. Just say matinee.
Yeah, it's just I'm just saying that's what they called it, and just
Yeah.
basically what they called it. So I only did a couples, and then I co-acted with a guy named Scotty Nunn, and he was good.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'd follow his lead. We'd kind of feed off each other's lines. We knew where we were going.
Yeah.
But he would do stuff, and I'd be like, I'd kind of do something. I'd bump him. So like, giving him a sign, the high sign, without letting the audience know. I'd bump him and like, oh, it's about to get weird.
Yeah.
I'd stomp my foot a certain way, and they're like, and he'd look, and I'd be like, scratch head, something. And he'd be like, he'd look at me, and he knew to play along.
Right.
That was our tell. We had a different tell, so it was always different. And I remember it's like at one point it's like, and that's as disgraceful as breaking a plate and slitting a goat's neck, and just and Bert's like, you broke a plate and killed a goat? What the? What? And it's like, it's disgracing your mother if you do that. She worked hard on the meal, and you have no idea what you're doing. And then this drug is dry. It's so dry. It's so dry. It's like Sahara. Wait, I've never even been to Sahara. Have we been to Brother, have we gone to the Sahara yet and met women there yet? Stuff like that. And he goes, I remember the Sahara. He just play off that and just make up a story, a line. It was acting. And it was just a blast. It was great memories. Will I do it again? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. It was so much work. I took so much on my plate. I stretched myself thin. It was fun. It just was. I memorized all my lines. Like, I knew everybody else's. Like, the next line, I'd memorize their lines too, so I knew when I was to cue, when I was to say what, so I wouldn't overtalk them. And some of them are still acting in theater, and some of them have gone off to actually, like, the majors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the Italian thing, seriously, the Italian thing is fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Watch out, Uncle Joey's coming for you.
Uncle Joey, he coming for you right now. Oh yeah. You see this ring? You see this ring right here? This pinky ring?
Yeah.
Donna Fonton gave me this pinky ring right here, and all I had to do was get this pinky ring right here. I didn't have to kill nobody. All I had to do is go down and get him some gabagool. I went down and got some gabagool. I woke up there and got some gabagool. I love that. That's so good. I got some gabagool. And he said, you see this? Yeah, all I do is go get down some gabagool. And he says, you're good by me. And that was my ticket in. That was my ticket in. I knew I'd made it big.
Yeah.
It's
hand gestures, and
yeah.
it's just
you got to show it. It's all about that. It's like, and this is how how I did it. And he goes, and then you, yeah,
your mother,
yeah, your mother in the fucker's own. You make up words because a lot of times you can't understand in comedy what they're saying. Sometimes it's not even based off reality, or bits and pieces are reality but are not reality, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you were stationed in Italy for 3 years, and that's the thing. I'm an entertainer, so thank you.
You're welcome. Look at that. Look at getting that Italian back out, and we're really making the sausage. We're making the sausage.
Yeah, you're making the sausage. Yeah, I'm walking here making the sausage. Stuff like that. The Robert. Yeah, so was that Robert De Niro?
Yeah, the De Niro. Yeah.
Yeah, De Niro.
No.
Was it De Niro?
No, he played. No,
No.
It's Robert. No,
who was that?
Huffman.
Was that Dustin Hoffman? Sorry,
Dustin
mistake.
Hoffman.
It was Dustin Hoffman. I'm walking you. Yeah. What movie was that? Was that?
I don't know. I know it was with. No, it was with John Voight. John Voight was
Yes.
the other actor.
Yeah. Okay. It gets okay. Those are all powerhouses.
Yeah.
And sometimes you mix them up from different movies. Sometimes, unless you're just like ingrained so hard, you just like, it's been so long since I've seen that, so I'll get the names wrong. To be fair,
it was called Freddy Lost a Finger. But anyway, no, but it's getting to the top of the hour.
Sure.
We're gonna start winding down.
Yeah.
I do have to.
No, yeah,
start.
absolutely, and same here.
Going. Yeah. But anyway, before we go, we're gonna do a few things. First off, we'll do our promotional stuff again, because
Sure.
we try to do that at the top of the hour, and then we'll go from there. So if you want to zap it on in, Major Zap, it's all yours.
I'm Major Zap. You can find me on YouTube, and the simplest way to find everything at the top of my channel in the description right there are all my links. You can use those. They make it so easy for going to be my Discord. I'd love to, if you want to be part of the Discord, I'd love to have you over there. I'd love, say, hey, I got an amazing community built over there. We would love to have you. The Twitter X is there. Any other content, if everything ever changes, the links to my merch, everything is right there. So you can definitely do that. It's the easiest way to find me. It's just search Major Zap, and everything is right there at your disposal. Thank you, Dara.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you. And yeah, no, again, it's all right. There'll be on both Rumble and YouTube because I don't stream, I don't put all my stuff in one basket.
Sure.
I think that's a good thing to learn. But all of it's right there, and of course, whether you're on the Rumble, for my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, uh, either or. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor, because not only does it help being seen more, like all content creators want to be. That's always
Absolutely.
a big one.
Absolutely.
But the other one is also having it's just in connecting with more people I have on. Like I've talked to creators and non-creators alike.
Yep.
I've talked to people who are challenging in their own right. But the point of the matter is just being able to have conversations with whoever, with about whoever you want to. You don't want to be getting involved with like bad actors. But other than that,
Sure.
there are people who, there are people great. I've talked to people all over. I've talked to people from Australia to South Africa and so much more. And so all that engagement helps with that as well. So any help with that, in either Rumble or YouTube, is much appreciated. Of course, I've got to go back to my. Where'd it go?
Oh, don't close that window.
No, not to close the window. It's like, oh, here we go. My link is down in the description below as well with Mr. Zap stuff. You'll find my Twitter X there. You'll find my email there. I have a link to Discord, but it's mostly just for DMing because people have different ways of communicating. And so, you have the email open part, and then you have the because most of my stuff is done through Twitter X. That's where if you were to see my DM list, no, it's just a long list. So don't don't ask.
No,
Don't
I got
ask.
you. Yeah, it's like even in our pre-show conversations, stuff like that, when I said I was multifaceted, I am definitely multifaceted. It's just and you will be one day if you so desire. And so far you're doing, I love what you do. You're doing a great great job, and I'm honored and thank you for the invitation. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you're always welcome back. And yeah, most of the stuff is just trial and error and just see what worked best for me, because I think that's always the most basic human thing, is when it just comes back to the most basic form of just trial and error. And I really think we'll go just to finish. I didn't finish it off, but to finish off the content creator thing, my thing has changed in that remark. Like when someone asks, okay, so what should I get started? It's like, no, don't worry about what to get started. Get with why you want to start this.
Because, what's the why? Yeah,
because like you were just saying earlier, there's those good moments and those bad moments and the people you deal with. I can't tell you how many times I've had to deal with backroom drama, and most of it is nothing to do with me. I'm not out here to cause anything. It's just I had a guest. One was I had a guest on, and there's this other guest that was a potential, and all of a sudden there's this thing going on. It's talking about lawsuits and stuff. It's like I have nothing to do with this. You bringing me into something that has nothing other than the guest, and I'm like, that's why.
And since I did a lot of the legal stuff in the industry, I deal with that on the daily. Unfortunately, I am not a lawyer, nor an RCM lawyer, but I know my in and out stuff, and I actually have stuff that I've written that are. I actually have a sad thing is I have a folder for legal stuff, and I have a cease and desist letter in there.
Wow.
That I'm like, you're really gonna make me out? Okay, fine. Here, cease and desist, because I'm actually I have a company, Relic Pro Productions, that's still in effect in Arizona, and I was like, oh, okay, so I will umbrella under that, and umbrella Major Zap is that brand. It's not just a name. It started out as a name, but once I started doing it more and started dealing with the legal aspect, I needed to brand myself. I needed to protect myself because I realized I want to do this as a full-time career. Eventually, I still got to pay my bills, so I still have to work a job.
Yeah.
But I eventually like to, once this really takes off, then just kind of do that. And then, but the thing about this, if I do that, I have to make sure time management, just like you have time management. We all have time management.
Yep.
Just go off and create. That's my biggest thing. Go off and create if you're a creator or creative. Make art, create anything. It's wonderful.
Yeah, just be mindful of just have your why ready, because
Yes.
it's
Why
there
am I
are
doing this still?
yeah, there are detriments out there, and it's I'm not saying it to like the competition or anything. I'm not
Mm-mm.
saying it to like keep you away. My thing is like for me, I had like two questions, right? If you can't answer these two questions, it was like, why do you want to get in it? What do you expect out of it? If you couldn't answer those two things, then I would say don't be a content
Yeah,
creator,
then
because
it may not be the right decision
yeah,
at this time.
because it's trying to spare the dealing with what you have, because there is so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this weird thing. Like I stepped into this doing not knowing what I wanted to do at first, and
Mm-hmm.
then finding my way there. And then once I got there, doing what I do, I deal with all different sorts of people, personalities, and it's been great so far. It's like 95%, right? Like 90. Well, I'll go with 90%. I'll go with 98%. It's been great, and then you have that 2% that's there. It's just it's trying to get people to understand that there is a back end that I don't think most people see. They might see it from if a content creator says it, but it's this weird sort of like they don't really say the whole thing, and you want to try to keep like not saying the names and stuff because you want to be respectful. But
Mm-hmm.
there are people who there are people who portray themselves as adults, but really behind the
Hey,
scenes
Ghoulie.
sometimes they act like kids, and it's really just trying to
Really
protect.
going to what you said, the thing is, it's a journey.
Yes.
It could be a great journey. It could be a
Yes.
bad journey. That's completely up to you on what
Yes.
path you take.
Yes.
And then there's always going to be situations and obstacles in your way on any path, no matter what you do in life.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to mature enough to know where to pivot, when to pivot, how to pivot, and that's in anything.
Oh yeah.
It's in anything. And you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make great decisions. Try to make as few bad decisions as possible and hope the good decisions you make are in your favor and not somebody else's.
Yeah. Those are the real hard ones because you never know until it's too
Yeah.
late.
And that's the thing. It's like I said, I did with like before we even started. I got a DM from you, and then it went off again. I was like, oh, well, he's quick to message. No, it was somebody else, and I get this all the time. They're like, I like the look of your channel. Did you do your own graphics? Yeah, I did. I do all my own
Oh
stuff. Thank you so
Lord.
much. And then they're like, I'm not looking to hire anybody. I have to deal with that. So I have a lot of stuff in a notepad. And I'm like, I'll copy paste. It's become my life is so much easier by having a notepad full of stuff. Copy paste. Oh, this happens. Grab that and say that's my response. I'm not going to sit there and time. Okay, money. You can make all kinds of money you want.
Yeah.
There's one resource you can never make, and time. You can never make more time. So
you can extend it, but you can't make more of it.
Sort of.
You can try to you can sort of extend it, but no, you can't make more of it.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing too, like talking on the commissioner and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I had one who was like, they followed me, and I was like,
oh yeah, I get that all the time. And then as soon as you drop that, hits a unfollow and a block. Be gone, foul spirit. Kind of situation.
Well, it's been funny too. Is like, oh, I look at their bio. It's like, okay, I see what you're trying to talk about. But then they come to you. They come to you in messaging, and they're like, hey, what's going on? How's life? All this stuff. Like, I know what you're trying to do here. It's only gonna take a few minutes. That is
why we have business emails. It's right there. I have a business email set up, and it says for business contacts. It literally says,
oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. You should have that, and just like it's there. That's the right channel to reach me.
Yeah.
And that gives me a chance to look at it. Don't sit there and DM me and sit there and feed me this story and this person or whatever fed me this story. I was like, no. And they're like, I don't need help. And I was like, no, but you can help me. And they tried to do that. But you can help me.
Ugh.
As soon as they said that, I went, unfollow, get off of my feed. You're no longer a follower of my channel, whatever it may be. And just ban hammer,
This is not the creator you're looking
Exactly.
for.
This is not the creator you're looking for. It's over there on this platform. Oh, hold on. I've even done this. I don't do this anymore. I've done this. They're like, what's your channel? And I'll grab like a kick link to somebody else. I'm like, right here.
You're a horrible person.
Hey. They're already doing something bad. I'm like, oh, you want to play this game? I can play right. It's cat and mouse. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're kitty. Here's some cheese
Yeah.
for that mouse. You want to
Oh,
do that,
goodness.
I will run you around. I don't like doing that by any means,
Yeah.
but it's
It's part of the
it's
part of the
it's
appeal.
entertaining. I get a great laugh at it. Ozzy has seen some of that stuff, and they went, "Oh no!" There was one of them that actually showed me, like, "Look at my portfolio," and I went and looked at it, and I went, "Why have I seen this before? This looks very 3D owned." And I went to 3D owned, and I took their page, and I went, "Oh, so you got a subscription to 3D owned? You copy pasted everything, and now you're selling your monthly subscription to. You're not making your own stuff. You're having somebody else make the stuff. So you're not." I'm a graphic artist. I'm a trained graphic artist. I do not like the acronym of GFX. It is graphic artist, not GFX. That's not a term we ever use in the industry or ever will use in the industry.
Right.
Period. So you drop GFX and I sit there and look at you and be like, really? Where? And I've got into it with somebody. It's like, where'd you matriculate? And they went, what's that word mean? Google it.
Yeah.
Matriculate means where'd you go to college?
Yeah.
Where'd you matriculate? And they're like, it's like, if you don't know that word, matriculate, and like you actually go, if you've been to college and done stuff like that, you learn that. It kind of falls into your stuff. It just kind of becomes conversation. It's not being snooty. It's I was using that to, it's like C is a test. I'll use big words. If you can't really have a conversation with me, it's leading to a conflict. And me, I'm like, you know what? Not a conflict. Go away.
Yeah. I'm going to pontificate this aristocratic.
Yes, and it works. It works 98% of the time. I'm gonna all over this and see what happens with it. And then they're like, I was like, okay, that's exactly what I thought. Go away.
Yeah. So,
It just,
but you know what? You know what can help with this? How about that? I have.
Yes, that exactly right there. Use Proton because it'll help you in your daily life.
I've seen too many creators do that. No,
Yeah.
Just as the last thing before we get to the next, I am part of Proton's creator program, and obviously I'm promoting their Proton. As you just saw, or if you were here earlier, you saw that we went to the site where the link will take you and all that stuff. Again, you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just offering this option of a benefit that I use on a daily basis and that I know is helpful and beneficial for many others. Again, if you just want to test out for yourself, they do have a free version of the VPN and mail. The other stuff you do have to pay for individually. But with the suite, you get to use all that stuff and the extra stuff that comes with it. And you just saw like the dark web monitoring for the email and all this. And again, it's up to you. Yes, I can make money off it, but that's not the point. I do it. The reason I do it is because I use it and I enjoy that benefit and I want to promote that benefit because again, you're living in a world that is not you don't know. Right, you listen to people who say, "Oh, I use it," because you'll see like on YouTube, right? There'll be sponsorship videos, and they'll say NordVPN and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, really, I don't think Proton's in that vein where they pay like for ads and stuff like that, but they do have a part of the program where people do word of mouth, which I believe is a lot better. Word of mouth, it's a much slower way of doing it, but it's a much long. Longevity sort of thing, like long lasting. So again, you could go to that link, you could check the stuff out. Again, the deal is more on the annual pay, like you get 23% off. So you go there, you'll see all this stuff. Again, they do a whole lot of stuff that is beneficial for you, the individual. And again, your files, like the Proton Drive, the files are your own. They're not going to look at it. Proton Pass, they basically make the password for you. You can set how many characters you want, whether it be the word, number, or the garble stuff. Again, there's so much stuff that this thing offers, and if you don't want to try it, that's fine. But again, it is an option, and at least it's from me to you. It's something that I hope you'll at least give a look, and maybe you'll be able to trust. But beyond that point, that's the end of that. Of course, tomorrow. Hey, Abomination AJ, what up? How are you doing, good sir?
And then you did yours, and I wait because nobody really hears anything. For all of those who are on my Rumble. And also right now on YouTube, where's my primary platform, at the end of everything like that, when I close out everything, you'll hear music. When I do anything, you'll hear music. I am a partner of VIP in perpetuity, and I have been for over 5 years with Upbeat.io. I'll drop the link right here in the chat. That way you too can take advantage of that service. If this is geared towards content creators. Whether it doesn't matter what type of content creator, they offer copyright-free music. You can download 3 free tracks. They used to be 10, but now it's 3. You can whitelist 3 channels on various platforms. That way you can avoid copyrights, because that's the biggest thing for a creator to deal with is how do I deal with this? Well, Upbeat's legal team over there, you can use all of their services. They have music, special effects, sound effects, and we just recently added, since I'm also an ambassador with them, I've been with them long enough that they offer me that role as well. They also now have LUTs. So if you do any camera work or vlogging is like that, and you know what a LUT is, they have all those resources available. Thank you, Upbeat, for having me as a creator and a partner VIP for as long as I have. I look forward to the future together, and I can't wait to bring more people over. That link right there helps me and my channel. That right there. So as that goes along, then I'll start getting free keys. And then I'll turn around and I'll pick certain creators and I'll just gift that key out, and it gives you a full year of the service. Wow. Gratis. It's part of the pay it forward. That's what I believe in. And that's if you learn something, like you have your pay it forward moments that you do in series. Do you have a times that you do a pay it forward? When is that exactly?
Usually, it's always on a Friday, but only if it's not a holiday event or family event.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, I do it, and it's mostly just for the Rumble side of things, because I can do more with what little I can do. No, not yet, Steve. We're getting to the question that. But also
get into the what?
Zero says,
I heard something interesting.
Zero,
what?
Well, Zero says I need that hat. Zaps. He wants.
Come get it. You want to fight, Zero? You want to fight over my hat? This was a gift, actually. Because it was somebody had with it one, and they actually had a matching one, the exact one. We got it. Hey, you can get yours too at Temu. That's where it came from. It's actually a nice beanie or a toolkit, whatever you want to call it. And they got that, and to the point we'd been together a year, and then it got to the point where we're going to have an embroidered on the side of it. It was like mine was going to say her, and on the other person's it was going to say his. And it was going to be his weirdo, her weirdo, that whole little cheesy couple thing. And we had the same hats, go out and wear that and stuff like that. But anyway, moving on from that. I'm not getting into that one. Not all. I will not touch that. I will not touch that with a Torch of Gondor. Not happening.
It's not for sale, is what he's saying. So
no. That conversation is. I'm not touching that whole rest of that conversation with the Torch of Gondor.
Nah. Don't touch it with it. It's too hot. Too hot to handle.
Sure.
But again,
say that.
But tomorrow at 5. Hold on. Yeah, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, I will have on once again DJ Smooth. I've had him on before.
Nice.
And obviously, it's at 5 p.m. because he's in Germany, and so it's about a 6-hour difference.
Ooh.
And so I kind of do it, especially for the UK. It's like when I had like Tom Beyond or Jack or them, it's usually like
anyone across the pond. You kind of like. Yeah, that's always the fun part when you have international work like that. You're like, where's the balance, on that?
Well, those are easier. You try Australia. That's a day and a half ahead.
Good luck. Right? I wish you the best on that, because my dear friend Wes Panzerweski, like I mentioned earlier about donating games and channels stuff like that, he's in the Netherlands, and so.
I've had someone from the Netherlands.
Yeah, and the time zone stuff like that. Like I'll be going live, and he's working and stuff like that, and then so. We used to, our schedules did this, but now our schedules are like this, and we barely get to game together. But when we talk to each other via Discord, that's why I use Discord. Yeah, that's our main line of communication. Yeah. I mean, he does have my personal number. I have his, but again, I'm already on Discord. He already has it on, so that's our thing like that. Anyway.
Australia, they got them angry kangaroos too. There.
He gonna punch you. Oh wait, what's the thing? It wasn't me. A dingo ate your baby.
There you go. That's from Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I did have someone from Netherlands. Now her name's Wendy, and she obviously she had a very thick accent, so you could understand her. And then
sure,
because English was a bit hard for her, so you have someone who's trying to find the equivalent from her language to English.
And another friend of mine, content creator, is in South Africa. Okay. Oh. And interesting, they speak Afrikaans, okay?
Afrikaans, yeah.
And so the funny thing about Wes, Dutch, German, all that, Afrikaans is a mix of that. And so they could talk, and it's like that. And I'm sitting there going,
yeah.
So I started using different things to start learning those and picking up on that and going. And then they'd laugh, and I'm like, yeah, I know, that's also funny. And I understood. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know, did you? Yeah.
You're in my place now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm not trapped
I
in here. You're trapped in with me. Give me back my face. Stuff
yeah.
like that.
I actually talked to a lady from South Africa.
Nice.
Very nice. But she works for a banking place, and so she travels around the world.
Sure.
And so that was kind of fun. But yeah, getting to talk to, and the thing of it is, like when I talked to her, it was during the time where they had all that stuff going on, like in
Yeah.
South Africa, like the news and stuff. But the point, the point, and part of our conversation was like, because she's traveled around the world, it really, what was going on there, because of what the news presents and stuff,
Yeah.
it's not as bad as what the news presents,
Of
because
course.
it's,
Like
yeah,
I said, I worked in the media.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
is it
yeah,
fabricated? No. Is it exaggerated? Yes.
yes,
Greatly.
we all exaggerate to some degree, so there's that,
I mean,
as
I
human beings.
hate saying this. When I
Yeah,
was at Fox in Arizona, I hate saying that word. I hate saying the
yeah.
word fox. I can't even say brown fox jump over the road without going bleh. You know, I can't because
Yeah,
I was trying my hand at everything. Yeah, I really was. Just like I was like, oh, I like journalism,
yeah,
and I felt like I had my moral compass was good. I felt like I
mm,
had journalistic integrity,
mm,
but then what they wanted me to do and say wasn't
yeah,
real, and it
yeah,
was basically it was really going to lead to defamation of an
yes,
official.
yeah,
And they gave me the story, and I had worked there like 3 or 4 days,
yeah,
learned the way, and I got to the bullpen, and then they basically have the thing, the editor or something, and they start handing out like postcard looking like 3x5s, and they
yeah,
flip it down, you don't see what it is, and now turn it over, and you go around the table and tell them what your story is. And I got to mine, and I said, I'm not doing this story.
yeah,
I'm not. I'm not going to read this. This isn't true. I know of this person. I don't know this person, but I know of them. What you're
yeah,
saying never happened. I'm not going to write this story. And they're like, you're going to write this story. I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like,
yeah.
yes, you are, or you're fired. I was like, that would be funny if that envelope right in front of me is not my resignation letter. I always kept one with me. I said, that on your desk is pre signed. All I have to do now is date it. And I
Yeah,
just did.
yeah,
I don't work for you.
yeah,
I'm not doing that story.
yeah.
And then they basically cussed me out of that whole building, head security. I was like, I'll walk myself out. You guys want a cup of coffee?
Yeah,
You want a coffee? I'm getting a coffee. You want a coffee? You
yeah,
know, stuff like that. And I just really just like, and the chief editor, I could see they were beat red that somebody finally stuck it to him and
yeah.
would not bow down to that.
Mhm,
And I just wouldn't. And that's why I don't watch the
mhm.
media now. I'm not saying that's just my choice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
choose not to. I bifurcate myself from that completely.
Mhm,
And for me, I found peace and
mhm.
happiness from that. If
Yeah,
something happens and news breaks or something like that, I do go, lastima. That's unfortunate. Bad
yeah,
outcome. And then I step
yep,
away. Because if it doesn't affect me directly,
yeah,
okay. Your point is
yep,
what? You're just
mhm,
you're just talking. And I'm like, okay, cool. Moving on. And we're talking
yep.
and just going like that. It really is. I thought with somebody they said when Zero said something about the hat, I thought you had like questions out of a hat kind of situation. We said hat, and I was like,
No, no,
oh, it's one of
that's
those crap,
no, it's Steve. But no, I do. So there's a thing I do with my guests at the end, and it's called questions from a hat. Now, obviously, if you've ever
Okay,
seen
I
this,
did I did hear that right. Crap. Okay.
so, but they call it Hat of Doom. I'm never calling it that. But if you've ever seen the show, Whose Line Is It
Yep.
Anyway?
Mm-hmm.
They had a thing called Scenes from a Hat.
Uh huh.
And so that's for me. That was like the most.
That's some
That
of the
was the
best
most
stuff. I'm a big fan of that show. So yeah.
the basic of improv, because you're basically taking suggestions from people who put it in the hat, and you're having your people act it out in the most basic way possible. But for me, I wanted to try to change
I
it
was
up.
like,
It was
you're
like,
gonna have me act, are you?
no, no,
I'm
no.
rusty.
But these aren't questions that people gave to ask, but they're more like questions I found, internet and stuff.
Mm,
They're not that bad.
sure.
But so what happens is I bought a hat from Rumble, obviously, and I put some questions inside. So
Sure.
what happens is that you, my guest, get 2 freebie questions, obviously, because we don't want to know all that stuff. I mostly call it that. Sometimes the questions be so that well, yes, but that's because sometimes philosophical comes into play, and you're just like, okay. But the point of the matter is, though, is that you, my guest, get 2 freebie questions. I am not monetized on YouTube, so I'm sorry, YouTube, and it's just not gonna work, unfortunately. But if you are on the Rumble side, I am monetized. So what happens is if you want more than the 2 questions pulled out of the hat, then you gotta give something for it. They call it called a Rumble rant
Yeah,
on the Rumble side. But you
I'm
can
aware
have
of
a
that. Yeah,
Rumble
yeah.
rant. Doesn't matter the amount. It could be a one. I've had people spam me the $1, the $2. Look, I'm building. Look, all those little pieces of base up there. Those are all Rumble rants.
I was wondering what that was. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. I had a question for you. I was like, do you just like post-it notes? Is it a fetish? What's going on with
Well,
that?
what happened was when I first started out, someone had mentioned like my color, my wall was bland, and there was nothing there,
Sure.
which is understandable. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so what can I do to kind of help, show some appreciation, but then have some color in the wall?
Yeah.
Well, there was a content creator I saw or was following at the time. I still follow, but I don't watch your stuff. Is Side Scroller Podcast,
I'm
and
aware of them. Yeah. Yeah.
when he was like getting gifted subs or stuff like that, he would put it on a post-it note and put it on the wall. So I kind of borrowed the
Sure.
idea a bit, but it's kind of a twofer. It kills two birds with one
That's
stone.
very similar to my dear friend Dahlia the Hologram. Basically, her thing is heartness. So if you donate, like she's on Twitch, you donate X amount of dollars, she'll actually go get some construction paper. She has a stack of it right there. She'll write your name down, cut it out in a heart, and she puts it on the wall of heartness. It's just a wall of hearts, all. And it's
Yeah.
it's a very similar thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
you make it your own.
yeah,
You make it your
you
own.
make it your own. Yeah, and I'm also making because I use Canva to
Same.
make my thumbnails and stuff.
That's
But
all I use. Well, I use that as my primary out and my tester, but then I do like 6 different programs as I'm working on stuff. You
Yeah.
don't want to see. Ozzy was here and I had like 12 tabs open and I'm moving from this to this to this and I'm and it's like, and then like I have a time frame of
Yeah.
like 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. is biz dev where I'm
Yeah.
working on various things for the next day because like I said, I go live every day on YouTube at 6 a.m. Like
Yep.
I have not. It's 8:27.
Mm.
When we're done, I'll start working on the thumbnail and everything for tomorrow's stream.
Yeah.
I got myself until 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Get stuff done.
I just streamline my stuff so it doesn't take me very long because it's just.
Well, I stream, but I do all. It's because I like all that stuff,
Right.
and I do it that way. That's just my style.
Streamline the process. I mean, streamline the process of just like
Mhm.
thumbnail, just have a template done, put the picture in, take the picture out, all that stuff, and then kind of go from there because it really is just sort of like I have to work in the morning, so I don't want to spend hours and because some people do that and that's fine, you do you, but that's just me. But anyway, we're gonna start with the first question. Not even looking in the hat, I'm just feeling around like a mystery.
Hey, watch where your hand is. Watch your hand now. That's
It's
not
in the
the hat. Okay.
Okay, so here's question number 1 right here, and the question is, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be with and why?
One. Okay. I have a question real quick. Does it have to be
Yes.
one, or can they be known together?
It
Has to be one.
If dinner with any historical figure, so
Okay.
yes, just one.
Historical
We'll sit with
figure.
one.
Historical
Yes.
figure. Nikola Tesla.
That's a pretty good figure right there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty. He might start talking to you about electrics and frequency, but
I'm into that. I'm Major Zap. And I've delved into that world, so I think it would be a great conversation. I admire all of their work and a lot of the stuff that we have. For example, the radio. Even though you look it up and it says it's noted for Marconi, Marconi didn't invent the radio. Tesla did. Marconi just stole the patent and got away with it.
Yeah.
The electric we use in homes, depending on the country, AC versus DC.
Yep.
That was, Tesla and Westinghouse going at each other's throats. Stuff like that.
It was Tesla and Edison.
The funny thing is, they say it was Edison. Really, the fight was between Westinghouse and Tesla. Edison got involved.
Yeah.
And it was like a trifecta of mixture of stuff. But because Westinghouse, Edison wasn't at the World's Fair.
Oh, okay.
Westinghouse was. So the biggest thing is what was happening. Westinghouse was going around trying to say what he's doing is dangerous. He was literally doing showings like, see, look, if you use this, and he was electrifying elephants and killing elephants. Like, see how dangerous it is? If this will kill an elephant, it could kill you.
Yeah.
So it was Westinghouse and Tesla at each other's throat. And the sad thing is, they did so much to that man, and he died broken and alone, and
Yeah.
because of this constant beratement, and it's sad. But ultimately, I wouldn't go to the part. I would want to have the conversation, going back to that with Tesla, like dinner. Now, it would be whatever their favorite food is. I'd try it, and I would go, so tell me a little about the Tesla coil. Your vision for wireless power and all of that. I think that's kind of the coolest thing ever. Your theory and how it worked, and how far did you get, and then maybe even have a conversation of going and seeing some of this stuff, and just experiencing it. But I'd want to retain that and come back here.
Yeah.
I'm not, not really. It's just for me. That would be for me. That wouldn't be for anybody else. That would be just for me. That would be who it would be. Would be Nikola Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I remember there was a story of where I think it was for the World State Fair, but he invented a form of light bulb too.
Yep.
Against not against Edison's, but I think
No,
it was.
it was
I just can't.
because Edison tried hundreds of times not to make the light bulb, to make the monofilament element that's in a light bulb to this day, and failed hundreds of times until he found one that was stable. He had to encase it in a vacuum and all of that, and then that worked.
Yeah.
So it's just try everything you can, explore, learn, and go from there. You're going to make mistakes, but that doesn't mean the best way to look at it is, it may be a mistake and a failure, but what did you learn from that?
Make mistakes that don't get you killed is a real good one, though.
Especially with electricity. Yes, please.
Yeah. Benjamin Franklin was out there with a kite and a key, so you might want to...
I mean, also, people don't realize this, and I heard this in a movie, and then I fact-checked it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was accurate. Okay.
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin was the very first person to suggest daylight savings time.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bit of a fickle for many people.
Yeah, but it is. But it was ultimately for business.
Yeah.
To get certain times of the day, more time of the day, to do more business. That's what it was for. It just causes, for us and stuff like that, we're like, great. It was helpful, wasn't it? It wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. It's mixed feelings on that one. It really is mixed feelings.
But it during a time where it was candlelight and not much else, but now you have electrical,
and that's it. Really, the daylight hours, daylight savings time, to save as much daylight as you could.
Yeah.
And because they had candles and then gas lamps and various things. Electric current and electric lighting. I mean, it actually changed the world.
Oh yeah.
It changed the world.
I mean, electricity was around during when thunderstorms were, but to be able to harness.
I mean, if as an example, also Henry Ford. Okay. In France and in that area, okay, if Henry Ford would not have created the combustible engine and done what they did at the time, by a certain amount of time, the manure from all of the horses and stuff would have been so up there that the areas wouldn't have been livable at all, because of it just been feet, several, like 3-4 feet of manure.
Oh yeah.
Think about that. That's a lot of shit to think about.
Well, don't forget the assembly line stuff too.
Yeah. No, there was so much more, but that one thing, if that innovation, Tesla, Edison, Ford, Franklin, if we wouldn't have had those things happen, we would not be here today where we are with what we have.
Yeah. Yep.
You and I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially since the internet was sort of invented by the government, or
it was.
Yeah.
It was used for communication. The internet was actually not created by Al Gore. As much as bad as that dude wanted it to be, it was created by a government organization that was privately funded called DARPA.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. It was a networking protocol. They had basically very basic communications at the time for, as example, airports. It was going from this to this. It was for communication,
Yeah.
and then it just became something so much greater.
More.
And then at times it feels grotesque.
Yeah. It's a tool that can be used on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
ARPANET, I think, is what they called it at the beginning. Was
Yes,
ARPANET.
yes, ARPANET was because that actually had DARPA's name in it. Yeah. Go look it up. Check out. I was like, who created the internet? Look up DARPA. Feel free to do that.
Steve says TCP/IP communication.
There you go, Steve. He knows. That's exactly what they used, and it was very basic. And then sometimes they had to run these dual lines back and forth for sometimes miles. Then you had data latency before it was really known as a thing, even though a lot of it was, very basic ones and zeros. And then it became a language. M-frame, the actual M-frame was part of the language and stuff like that. And that advanced to another codec and another language and another language. Because of all this, we were able to learn how fast we could make it, how reliable we could make it, and where it could go. Like now, if it wasn't for a lot of the inventors and stuff like that, we wouldn't have fiber internet. The protocols that we learned and what we learned along the way, fiber internet is now becoming like I actually have fiber on cable right now, but like in a month's time, they'll be rolling through and they'll be dropping a 2 gig fiber line for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be using it because as much bandwidth as I push on an everyday basis, and the cost of that is like half of what I pay now. One, it's faster, better tech, it's cheaper. A smart business decision. I'm going to pivot that way.
Yeah, it's still not all out there yet because you still have rural places that are.
Yeah, and I actually the funny thing is, I used to live in a rural area, but I now live in the city.
Yeah,
and then they had a couple of companies and stuff like that. But now that everything's progressing, this other company's coming in, and they partnered with this other company. Yeah. And I called them the other day. My address. The funny thing, the property I own across the street, I literally own another property 100 feet from the property I'm at.
Wow.
And it's nothing on it. I bought it years ago.
Right.
But ultimately, I told Ozzy my dream of that place is I own it. I pay the taxes on it. It's very low taxes right now, thankfully. My dream, it's like as a content creator, once I get to a point and I can, and this is going to sound absolutely absurd, but this is my dream. I plan on building Zap Studios over there. This will be my home. The studio will move over there. That'll be my studio. I'll walk across the street. I'll go to my studio. I'll have, if I want to go to sleep or whatever, I could have a small little private area over there locked off. And then I ultimately want to build a place where it's not going to be a content creator commune or everything like that. If there are creators that are in my area and that want to be trained and we work together and things like that, then you have a place. If you don't have your own studio, I'll have various studio set because I took that note from a good friend of mine, Harris Heller. He has a music channel. He started a music line called Stream Beats, and he went from Senpai something to now it's Senpai Gaming.
Oh, okay.
That's his gaming channel. But Harris, a couple of years ago, he's been in the industry for a long time, been on YouTube for a very long time. Him and his spouse, they just had, I think their child is now 3. It's been so baby was coming along and everything. He lives in Utah, and I'm not telling you where because I know all of that stuff. He's in Utah. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Google it if you want to know. The information's out there. Okay.
Sure.
Anyway, recently built his studio, $150,000 just a studio, and it is chef's kiss high tech. Wow. And he toured it and everything like that. I looked at that and I was like, "That's my dream."
That son of a bitch.
He beat me to it. It's fine. No, but because it's not that I'm going to copy that. It's everything I know about tech and everything I know thus far about content creation. I want Zap's Nest. I want Zap. I have Relic Road Productions. I have Got Film Productions, like Got Milk, but Got Film. Got Film. Haven't done anything with that years. I did some stuff and like that, and I tried on my own. Flopped. Because I thought I was going to be this world famous director like Steven Spielberg. Okay, Steve. I'll tell you right now. Terry Sorensen, one of my instructors, said, if you ever work in the industry and you want to be taken seriously, if you go into that world, no one will ever take you seriously. No, I have never done that. Have no interest in broadcasting like that. That's none of your business, Steve. Hey, Steve, mind your business. You mind your business. He's one of my usuals. Steve, you mind your business.
Yeah.
I had to get on to Steve
Yeah.
sometimes. Steve is also, he's not a creator, but he does 3D printing stuff, right?
Yep. Yep.
He does 3D printing, and he does electroplating over that.
Yeah.
He did some commemorative coins that he was recreating and stuff like that. I saw it, and I'm sitting there going, hey, Steve, at the 500 mark, when I hit 500 subs, I want you and I to have a conversation. I would like to have on my fourth wall, which is my merch store, a commemorative coin that's on the short run. Just celebrating that milestone. Something that somebody could help that's tangible. Basically, thanking everybody for helping me get there. Yeah. Have that saying, hey, I remember when. This is how I remember when. Yeah. Something that's tangible, because memories fade. But if you have something that brings that memory back, right? There you go. And it just sounds like, it's a possibility. It's just, it's a pipe dream right now, but, and those pipes can get clogged.
It's something to aim for. It's something to aim for.
I set myself attainable goals, things that seem unattainable, but sounds impossible, but it's just improbable right now. Yeah. For now.
And this, I'll choose this question because Steve's asking, and he's asking, what's the most significant invention of our time today? I just really think the continuation of the internet and the evolving of the technology from it is probably the greatest.
Our conversation answered that question alone. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I mean the internet is, you can use it through your phones, you can use it through your computer, you can use it through a pad, pad.
I have an answer to that one, and it's the MRI.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because of where it came from, and
the NASA.
Yeah. If without all of that and those innovations there, we wouldn't have the MRI today, which saves lives on the daily.
Yeah, it's expensive though. It is.
It's expensive, yes, but without that, expensive or not, without innovation and something that happens that's used on a daily life that makes a difference, is that machine right there. That one thing makes so much of it such an impact, more than you realize.
What is the wording for it stand for though? I never knew what
magnetic resonance. I can't remember the last I.
Magnetic.
So basically, it's it's basically they're giant magnets that spin at certain speeds and certain frequencies that voltages are putting through them, electricity, and then it can create images. Oh, magnetic resonance imaging.
Yeah.
I had to think for a second. So it's an imaging system, but they had to write software for that, and you need the internet, a lot of that stuff so the internet and that falls together. It becomes a beautiful marriage, dysfunctional at times, but a marriage nonetheless.
Yeah,
and without them, Steve, MRI, exactly.
And Steve says the internet has gone to hell, hive mind, and it's very damaging at this. But the problem of it is it's us.
Yes, we are the element that will take it down. Absolutely, the human element will be the thing that is. We are the crux.
Yeah. No item or weapon can be destructive without the people behind.
Because honestly, everything in existence that we use today is man-made.
Yeah. And it can't do anything without external influence from human. Yeah. Steve says it'll cut you apart if you're wearing anything metal and go near it. Oh, well, yes. Obviously,
yes. Well, it's magnetic, of course. Yeah. That's why they ask all those questions. Do you have metal plating? And you please take off your jewelry. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And they check your blood to make sure you don't have too much iron in your blood. They do all these tests to ensure.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Too much iron in your blood. If you have way, way too much iron blood, you will bleed through your skin, my friend.
What?
Oh, yeah. It's a magnet, my friend. Iron is ferrous.
I know that, but I was like, I did.
Like if you have, and if like you're a chemo patient and stuff like that, sometimes they treat you with heavy metals. If you have heavy metals in your blood, if you've been, if you're, the reason that you're there is because your illness is from heavy metal poisoning. They need to know that stuff before they run you through that system because it could be a very bad outcome really quickly. Yeah, it gets deep in that. You would not believe how deep it gets. And you're like, what? No, that's science fiction. Everything was science fiction at one point till it became science, fact, and practice.
Smartphone.
Yeah.
Smartphone was one of those, and it was based off Star Trek.
Yeah, to a point. Sure.
Well, yeah. Steve says I saw that one little man they let near wearing a necklace and it tore him apart.
I don't
Wow.
know. That was basically, uh, 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 what would you consider that? That's
Would is he
pure
was
negligence.
yeah, that would be dumb. Was it okay, was it a little man or was it a
I don't
man
think
who was
that's even the
little?
point. The point is that was pure negligence. They
Yeah.
should have checked that. They should have known better. They were careless, and somebody lost their life because of it.
Yeah. No, oh, no, definitely. And it's yeah,
It's a bad outcome.
yep, bad outcome. But regardless, that is the end
Yeah.
of the show, of course. And like I said earlier, at 7 p.m. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'll be having on DJ Smooth, so come and see that. But of course, we want to thank all of those in the chat for coming along and being here. Obviously, for some of those who are a little late and don't show up all the time. Uh,
That is a good idea, Flary. Flary says real quick, in mine, it's a fairly large line. He says,
yeah.
why not a mustache with your name on it zap instead of a coin? Free contest idea. People can send in the photos of their mustaches and other things with mustaches and get a
Oh.
discount item on the shop. I am stealing that, Flary. I'm going to think about that. Put a
Well,
pin in it. Goes right here.
I will give a say. There's a content creator. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you be here. There is a content creator called Markiplier, and he would play a character of Warstaff, and so you'd have that pink mustache, which I think he did at one point start selling it because people, you could buy like a paper thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that idea that you could
Yeah.
do something like that.
If Larry has that idea, but the reason I went commemorative coin because the one I have, it's so near and dear to me, and it would be actual that's everybody can get those things anywhere. Commemorative coins are kind of rarer to find, like challenge coins is what it would be. Marking
Or
you flip it over and just like name, mustache, all that stuff. Flip it over and it says, thank you for your support around the ring of it, and it has like we made it to, with your support we made it to. That thing, it could change. It's just an idea right now. I'm sure that would be evolved, change, could be anything. But I mean, I'm actually working in the background. Everything's going great on this. I mentioned it a couple streams ago, and I have over the time. I'm working with a designer right now. We're in the phase of close to manufacturing. It's going to take a little bit more money because put some money into it, but final production is going to cost a little bit more. The tooling of everything. Plushies. I actually have a plushie, 2 different plushies. Once I hit 1K subs on YouTube, then that will be available for a very, very limited run, like for I think 3 weeks. And if you don't get it in that time, you will never see it again. It's gone. Do stuff like that, and make it like because really it's really thanking them. And then when I do get monetization light, which I'm actually really, really close to that, I've already knocked my watch hours out, completely killed the watch hours. Thank you everybody for that, for joining me, because 4 streams ago, I had the highest viewer count for the longest time. I had 99 people watching and stayed for over 2 hours.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going, I'm still trying to entertain and play the game and, and everything like that. But I kept looking at my phone. I'm going, thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. You chose this. And thank you because before all of this and before I started doing it every single day, I was doing it every now and then. I was trying to be consistent. I wasn't being as consistent as I should have been. That's on me. And I learned a lot from it. A lot that I was having no growth and I was, woe is me. What am I doing wrong? And then I started following my coach from vidIQ. I purchased a coaching program from them. You don't have to do that. I did. And their words and advice for me, there's like one, constructive criticism. You're not consistent, so you have no chance of growth.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that was hard to hear.
Right.
But I applied what they taught in that. It's like a coach, like you work out with. So, what? That's a good one. Yet. Key word in there. Yet, Steve. Yet. You have not had the band hammer on your head yet.
Ooh.
Keep it up, sir.
Oh,
Steve's a good guy. Steve's a great. Yeah. Steve, you need to sleep more, sir. You do not sleep nearly enough.
Goodness.
He's always like, I'm so tired. I'm half dead. Sleep.
Go to get. I tell him to. I tell him every time it comes down. It's like,
yeah, me too.
It's like,
hey, Steve, go to bed.
Yeah, he's like half dead, and he's like, he's here already. He's like, just.
We
go to
love you,
bed, I
Steve.
get
Thank
it.
you for being here. We're not
Yeah,
chasing you off. Thank you for your love and support. We really appreciate
yeah.
you being here.
Now toss a fiver.
Right.
Hey, Chris.
Toss
How
a
you doing?
bit to your streamer. Your
That's
wallet's
right.
a plenty. Your wallet's a plenty.
There you
Oh,
go. But anyway, but yes, again, it's okay. I got a hammer here. It's gonna be a hammer off. Oh, good lord.
really?
Better.
Are we gonna have hammer game? Hammer time.
Probably
Nah,
not the
Steve
type of
said.
hammer he's talking about anyway.
And moving on.
But anyway, but yes, of course, thank you, chat, on both ends, and of course, thank you, Major Zap.
Absolutely. It was
Awesome.
my honor and pleasure. Thank you for reaching out. This has been a great conversation. I look forward to future conversations if you'll have me. I had such a blast. I really did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
always try to bring back people who've been on, because again, the more people I have on, it's kind of like
Yeah.
the pool gets wider. But the point of why I do this is to show that you can have a conversation with just about anyone,
Yeah.
not just content creator to content
Absolutely.
creator, which I have had, yes, which is a big chunk of it, but it's not the whole. I mean, again, when I can speak to people from, like Wendy from Netherlands, or from Anjanette from South Africa, these people who have probably never been on a stream before, and yet they come on,
Sure.
and they do something pretty amazing,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But yeah, it's why I do
Catch
it.
a hammer, Steve? Really? I'm gonna catch a hammer?
He's gonna try to catch a hammer. It's not gonna go well. But anyway, as always, I end the show. Give me 1 second. I end the show with "One Day with You" by Pogo, and again, 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Sure.
For DJ Smooth. And again, all our links are down in the description below, so you can see where all our stuff is at. And with that, guys, I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Bye, everybody. Oh, chat, that was a great show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll go ahead and wrap up with a song on my end. I have a great song. Let me go ahead and mute this real quick. If I can mute it. If it lets me. That's just settings. Oh, it doesn't let me mute that. Okay. We will leave with some music in just a moment. There we go. Well, we'll use Dara's music. I like it.
When I laid my eyes upon